And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over mainstream media, social media, and I don't know where to start. First of all, Project Veritas is out here doing what they do very well, but this time the reaction from the person that got caught was off of the charts. You're talking about Joey Greco from Cheaters. You're talking about Chris Hansen. You're talking about MSNBC, Chris Hansen, Catching the Predator. You're talking about some really crazy shows and reactions. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, we got to talk about this Paul Pelosi footage. What do you make of it? What's going on here? Do we think that it kind of makes sense that somebody broke into the home and they were trying to attack him? Like, what's really happening? We're going to break that down in a little bit. Also, speaking of footage, we got to talk about Tyre Nichols out there in Memphis, Tennessee. They're looting GameStop and whatnot because they want to have justice for Tyre. How does that make any sense? Everybody that's involved in the case is black. You have a black victim, black officers, black police chief, black city. But somehow it's the white man's fault. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. Also, TJ Holmes and Amy Robach have both been fired from ABC and their show called Good Morning America 3, GMA 3, at the Days of Our Lives, Soccer Mom, 1 o'clock, middle of the day type hour. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. Also, Ed Reed gets fired before he starts at Bethune Cookman. We'll talk about all these things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. If you enjoy what you're hearing thus far, if you enjoy the content in general, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. We got a lot happening today. There's a whole lot going on. I don't even know where to begin, but before we even do anything, shout out to all the sponsors. Really, it's me. Really, sponsors, I'm sponsors. Shout out to, well, first, before we talk about my website, shout out to patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these internets. Link for patriotpost.us will be in the description, or just visit the website, patriotpost.us. Check them on out right now today. Also, go to my website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. If you go to the front page, you can find articles for each video that I produce. So if you ever have a question like, hey, ABL, where'd you get that number from? Where'd you get that statistic from? Just go to the website. It's right there, right on the front page, anthonyblogan.com. Also go to anthonyblogan.com/contact. You can find my email address, my snail mail address, my social media accounts, my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff will be right there on the website, anthonyblogan.com, anthonyblogan.com/contact. And a quick PSA. Now, I know whenever I say this, some guys are going to be like, look, ABO, we get it. We understand that there's scammers out there. I know a lot of you guys understand it, but not everybody's so computer savvy. People might just get tricked by some of the scammers out there. So PSA, I will never, ever, ever, ever ask you to contact me in a YouTube comment, ever. If you want to contact me, the best way, well, there's a few ways to contact me. Right now in the show, okay, there's a number you could call later, and I'll answer. If you send me a comment right there, I might be able to see it. A super chat, I might be able to see it. So you can contact me right now through this particular portal, the live show. That's one way. The second way, there's a number to call right there. You see it come back to the screen. The number to call me is always in this description box. It's the same number all the time, and it'll be right there in the ticker. And that number is only available during the live show. So moral of the story so far is, if you want to contact me, the live show that you could see me physically on is the best way. Okay. Also, you could go to my website, again, anthonyblogan.com. Go to the contact page. There's an email address, a P.O. box, social media. If it's not on my website or on a live show, it's not me. So if somebody responds to your comment talking about, hey, contact me on WhatsApp or some kind of random number, and then they say, hey, you know what? You want to make money? Let's invest in cryptocurrency. I promise you with 100% certainty, that's not me. So please, oh, please, oh, please, let's not get scammed anymore in 2023. I want y'all to be safe. Keep your money in your pocket. I know it's rough out here. Eggs cost the price of a brand new newborn child. Okay. I'm talking about your brand new newborn baby. You never had kids before. Your first child is a price of 1 dozen eggs. I get it. So let's keep all the monies in our pocket and let's not get scammed in 2023 or anytime at all in the foreseeable future. So again, I will never contact you through a YouTube comment talking about contact me, and I will never ask you for money or anything like that. Ever, ever, ever. If somebody does that, they got my picture, they got a name that looks like mine, it's not me. But I digress. So go to the website. Go to patriotpost.us and also go to my merch website, ablmerch.com. That is ablmerch.com. We got hats, we got t-shirts, we got stickers, we got hoodies, we got all that good stuff right on the merch store. Y'all, please check it out. I'm not a Nigerian prince or an American prince. I'm not anything like that. Okay. I know, no, I'm not any kind of prince. I'm just regular old ABL. All righty. I have no cash for you. I have no check that you got to cash in your account, and I take a piece, you get a piece, and then that going on. Okay, I don't live far from Atlanta, but I'm not from Atlanta. I'm not a scammer. Shout out to all the ATLians out there. You're not all scammers. It's just a quick, funny stereotype, but I digress. What else we got going on? Oh, this is a podcast you're listening to right now, and if you want to hear this podcast after we finish tonight on the live stream as audio only, go to your favorite audio streaming platform. That's Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, Apple, iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the description. Or go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. So we got quite a few things on deck tonight, and I don't know where to really begin. I think we should start with let's start with TJ Holmes. No. Matter of fact, not TJ Holmes. Let's start with Ed Reed. Because I wanted to get to Ed Reed last time, but I think I didn't have enough time to really get into it. So we're going to get to Tyre Nichols, Paul Pelosi, the good stuff in a little bit. But first, it's a story I want to cover talking about Ed Reed. Now, if you guys don't know, Ed Reed, Hall of Fame football player, played a long time for the Baltimore Ravens. Hall of Fame safety, one of the best, if not the best safety ever to play the game. He got a head coaching job, or he was at least offered a job, meaning the job was his, but he hadn't signed a contract yet. You understand? So he was there kind of trying to get stuff together, but the ink was not signed on the paper. So he was not officially the coach yet. He was trying to get the job, trying to get everything finalized, but he hadn't finalized it yet. So he's there and he's trying to get things together, but he's looking at the campus conditions. There's trash everywhere. It's in the hood. This is in Daytona Beach, Florida. It's in the ghetto. There's a building on the campus that's falling apart. People can see it. It's an eyesore. It's just overall a bad place. But he's trying to go there, trying to make it be something more than what it was, and he's not having much success. He's on the campus. There's trash everywhere. He's a neat freak like me. Like, if I go to a place and there's trash on the ground, we got a problem. If you want me to work at a place and my office ain't clean, you got mold and stuff in the dorm rooms. Now, my question to Ed Reed would be, okay, before you actually decided to become the next head coach of Bethune Cookman University, did you not see the dorm room condition? Did you not see how the office was? Because I know sometimes they want to give you the grand tour, like ain't nothing going on, it's all good. They want to give you this illusion of beauty, but then once you actually get there, it's something else. Did you see the postcard version on your tour? Did you basically take the job like sight unseen? Did you say, okay, I'll be the next head coach, but you didn't really see the campus yet? Like, I want to know what your prior interaction was with the school before you say, you know what, I'll be the next head coach. But I digress. So he did not like what he saw, and he went on an Instagram rant. He went on quite a few rants. And as a result of those rants, he was basically fired. When I say basically, I mean he hadn't been hired yet, so it's kind of hard to fire him. He was removed from the consideration of the job. Basically, he had the job, then he didn't anymore because of what he said on Instagram. And they're talking about, oh, we're a Christian school. We can't have stuff like that out there. But it's like, hey, wait a minute. I mean, if you're a Christian school, why are your kids living in moldy dorm rooms? Like, what part of the game is that? Like, you got to fix your school. If you can't fix this school, you got to shut it down. But I have a lot of things to say. Before I say what I really want to express, do I have a video from Ed Reed? I'll play a little bit of this so you kind of understand his frustration and the kind of passion he was using while speaking about the school's conditions. Let's go ahead and roll this clip. Shout out to Mag TV for the clip. All right.
My vision for change is probably moving too fast for a lot of people. I'm not withdrawing my name, as they saying. They don't want me here. They do not want me here because I tell the truth.
Now, he's referring to the Instagram rant where he was really mad about what was going on. Matter of fact, this is a decent speech, but I want to get to the IG rant. That's what I really want to find, because that is really where the problem started. Yeah, that's where the problem started right there. If I can find it, then that'd be good.
Profit muscle.
Alrighty.
Same passion and they smiling and laughing in my face. This ain't funny. We gonna ride through the fence they ain't fixed the fence. We about to ride through this fence. This ain't even football side. This ain't even the football side. And y'all talking about Madden at my Uncle Prime. Y'all mad at Dion, mad at Prime. This shit is every HBCU.
So now he's talking about how the school's in poor condition, the fence is broken, and these problems exist at every black college. And he's right to a certain extent. I won't know if I got to say every black college, but a lot of black colleges face these problems. Deion had the same problem at Jackson State. That's why Deion Sanders left Jackson State, or why that's why he left. Because, okay, you have Jackson State, and you want to do the right thing. You want to be there for your black brothers and whatnot. But when you got, first of all, you got the administration taking money, allegedly. They're taking money. They're not really doing the right thing with the money. And the money they take, they're not giving back to the school to fix basic things that should be fixed. It's a mess. It's a total mess. You have these black colleges going to the federal government begging for money every year. And Trump made that permanent as far as the money they get. They get federal dollars. They get some sort of endowments from some people, but it's not enough to fix a fence on the campus. Like, it's one thing to have state-of-the-art field, state-of-the-art compounds. It's one thing to have that, but to not even fix a fence, to have trash on the ground, to have no security, crackheads walking through the school. I mean, if you got a building that's dilapidated and you're not trying to fix it, go ahead and knock it down. Basic things like that don't get done because people are siphoning money into their own pockets, and they're a lot of times mismanaged. Now, am I saying this is every black college? No, but too many of them have the same problems. And then I think you should just go and fix all these problems. That's the expectations laid at your feet. Oh, you're Ed Reed. You're a black guy. Go fix the problem over there because you're one of us. You're our black brother. But it's like, y'all have to work with me here. Let's continue.
Bro, we riding through the fence. This is track, bro. This is track. This is what they practice on. It's a straightaway. This is intramural field. You can't practice on this. These kids got this to work with. Trash. Yeah, I'm showing it. At this point, I got to show this shit.
Now, he's talking about how the field's in poor condition, but really, it's not actually that bad compared to, well, it's bad compared to the U in Miami, Ed Reed, obviously. It's bad compared to like a real like power conference type of school, but it's Bethune Cookman. You're at a very small kind of podunk college, really. It's a black college, but that don't mean anything. It's a small little college. They're not going to have stuff really on order like that. That's one thing, just not having a state-of-the-art type of field, but it's a different thing to have trash on the ground. You might not be able to fix not having a proper track for the kids to practice on. You might not be able to fix that right away, but trash on the ground, you got to tighten that up. And sorry for the cussing. It's not my fault. Blame the white man. And shout out to Ed Reed's beard. I could only hope to get there one day.
I'm not even the head coach.
You right, don't trust nobody.
Congratulations. Man, I should go my home. I said I should. I ain't. It ain't happening.
So this right here, this IG rant and a few more things he said got him in trouble, and then he got fired. But I'm going to come back, talk about black colleges a little bit more, because I feel like there's some things out there about black colleges that are just, I just want to say a couple things about black colleges. And I'm going to move on from this topic. Now, I almost went to a black college myself back in Virginia, Norfolk State, if you know about that. If y'all from out that way, y'all know about Norfolk State. I tried to go there after I went to TCC, got my 2-year degree. I tried Norfolk State, but I kept having problems. Basically, what happened was I had an advisor I had to talk to because I was, in art, trying to be a graphic designer. And I had to talk to this advisor to get into the program. It was one guy I had to talk to. And the guy, I kept having to reschedule for some reason. Like, he kept rescheduling. One time his car broke down. He forgot one time. One time he was like 2 hours late and I had to go to work. Because I'm not a college kid. I'm in college. I'm not a college. Like, what I'm saying is this. I'm not a college kid, meaning I commute to college. And when I'm not at school, I'm at work. I had a full-time job, basically, at that time at like 19, 20. So I'm not on campus. I'm not doing the dances. And I don't got time for that, man. Like, I'm basically a local guy, a local street dude trying to go to college, essentially. So I don't have time to wait for you for 2 hours. I don't got time for your car to get fixed. I need to get this meeting and get me into classes and let's go about our business. But I could never really follow through with the meeting. It was always something. And meanwhile, time's wasting. We're scheduling meetings like 2 weeks apart. And it's like, yo, I got to get into classes right now. Okay, the slots are filling up. If I don't get into this program, I need to go somewhere else. And if I wait a long time, they're going to have slots filled up and I can't get into the program. Long story short, why not go in there? Went to ODU instead, Old Dominion University in Norfolk, which was just as bad, really. So, there's a lot of heat on black colleges, but colleges in general got a lot of problems. I think black colleges have a problem with management, bad management, people not really competent, knowing what they're doing. But when you go to a non-black college, a regular, like a PWI, what they call it, primarily white, what happens is they'll rob you, they'll scam you. When I went to Old Dominion, I got in there just fine, right? Everybody smiling face, you go have the meeting, everything's all smooth, right? But then a year later, they're like, yo, we said that your credits are transferred from your associate's degree just fine. There was a program where they said your credits are transferred just fine. It won't be any problems. You won't have core classes like become electives. Everything will be good. I talked to not one, not two, not three, but 4 different counselors at ODU and TCC, the community college, and I was asking the same questions. Hey, will my credits transfer as they were at the community college to ODU? Everybody said, yeah, it won't be a problem. I'm talking to the people in the art program. They get me in there. They say, yeah, all you got to do is submit a project that you basically did in your prior classes because you have good artwork. So my portfolio, you have good artwork, submit that, you'll be just fine. But after a year of me being there, I submitted my artwork. They said, nope, that's not fine. It's violent because I had little toy guns in the artwork. They said that's violent. We don't want guns in the artwork. You're not going to be in art 3. So they put me back to like Art 2 or something dumb like that. Basically, had to retake a class I already had an A. Like, I was getting straight A's in my art classes. Had to retake that. I was like, nope, not doing that. I'm going to go ahead and drop out. So I wasted basically a year going there. I mean, I learned, college for me was good for networking. I met a lot of good people, great people. That was the best thing for me, was networking. And it's to the point now I could do that on Twitter, on social media. I've met more people through social media than I have through college. Although college was good for networking, I've met more through stuff like this. Okay, and that's just the reality of the situation. So it was kind of a waste of time. I was in the street anyway. I was kind of like a street guy, not dealing drugs, nothing crazy like that. But I was just like I was a local guy going to college, basically. I wasn't the guy that was like away from my parents' house, living in a dorm room, going to parties. I was not that guy. So I could have spent that time getting more money legally, of course, never did anything illegal, rather than going to college. Moral of the story is this. Black colleges get a bad rap for being poorly managed, poorly operated, no money. That's true. Sometimes, a lot of times, too many times. Bethune Cookman in Florida, Jackson State, Mississippi, yes. But regular college will scam you, will rob you barefaced. You're paying how much per semester? 10, 20, 30, 40 grand a semester. And at the end of it, what do you really have? If you're not going for a very specialized thing like doctor, lawyer, or something like that, like, okay, there's going to be a career at the end of this, like a real thing, not just I'm going because I want to go. General studies, you're wasting your time. If you don't have a serious plan of action, it's kind of a waste, in my opinion. I would say go to a secondary type school to get some training about how to do certain things, how to use your hands, have a specialized skill, engineering, STEM, technology, that type of thing. But going just to go to get a degree and you have no plan of action, no nothing, it's a waste of time. And if you're going to go get a degree to have a higher chance of scoring a job, don't go out of state and pay more in tuition. That's kind of pointless. You might as well go to ECPI or some bogus crap like that. Not quite like that. Go to any kind of regular state school and get your degree and go about your business. Go to the cheapest school possible, because it doesn't really matter what you learn there. If you're not going for a specialized skill, it doesn't matter where you go, for real. Get your degree and learn what you want to go and do on your own. That's my opinion, but I digress. Art degree is a waste, ABL. Well, I don't have an art degree. I didn't really care about the degree personally. I was just trying to get the skills necessary to do what I did. And for me, it worked, because my plan that I had was to be a graphic designer. I was not going to be like an art teacher or something like that. I became a graphic designer, and then I became a web developer. So I made a lot of money on my own. Like I said before, I've been getting money self-employed since I was 23. So like for the past 16 years, self-employed. So it worked for me. But again, all I have is an associate's degree, and I don't have any debt from school. For me, it worked. But to go and get a 4-year degree would have been a waste, for sure. Absolutely. But again, if you're going to go for a specialized thing that requires a degree, or a degree will help you to advance in that particular field, then it makes sense. But if not, then you're kind of wasting your time. But I digress. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And what else we got going on? There's a lot you can talk about right now. We talk about Tyre Nichols. Can we go there right now? Let's go to Tyre Nichols. Now, Tyre Nichols, this guy, this story, I should say, has a lot going on. So Tyre Nichols, 29-year-old black male who died after being beaten by police in Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee. Now, he's from California, but he worked at FedEx, so he probably got transferred to Tennessee because FedEx has their headquarters right there. because Memphis is like central. It borders a lot of states. It's not far from a lot of states. You know, you got Chicago, of course, all the South, Atlanta. You got New Orleans. It's very central to the United States in that particular region. So it's a good point to ship things from and to. So a lot of jobs are out there for FedEx in Memphis. So that guy worked for FedEx, apparently, or at one point he did. And there may have been some sort of traffic stop. Now, there's conflicting reports about this. The police out there on the ground who made the arrest and then the unfortunate beating, they're talking about, well, they were trying to pull him over for a traffic stop. And he was refusing to get pulled over. The police chief, a black woman, and everybody's black, by the way. The officers who did this were black. The victim, black. Police chief, black. And they're all men except for the police chief. She's a woman, but everybody else, black and male. Right around the same age, too. But anyway, so the police say that they were trying to pull him over. He didn't want to do it. They finally get him over. They're taking him out. Taking him out the car kind of violently. And he immediately is resisting. They try to get him on the ground. They try to get him cuffed. He gets up, runs away. Like, he literally gets up off the ground and runs away. Then they got to catch him. And then he's struggling. He's resisting. Now, I want to say this. You got to stop resisting arrest. I'll say it one more time for the folks in the back. You must stop resisting arrest. Now, I know when I say that, people are going to just turn their brain off and be like, well, so what? That doesn't mean he deserved to die. Didn't say that, now did I? I did not say he deserved anything. All I'm saying is stop resisting arrest, because whether you believe the beating was just or not, I think it was not right. I think it was unjust what happened to him, obviously. I mean, you can strike somebody with fists when they're not being compliant to get them to comply. You can do that. But you can't, if you got a guy on the ground, you can't just run up on him and give him a football kick in his head. You can't do that. I mean, they were just beating him at a certain point for no reason. You can't do that. You can strike him. You can do certain things, but not what they did. However, this would have all been prevented if, guess what? If he complied from the beginning. You get arrested, you get pulled over. You know, it's the police there right there. What are you really going to do? What can you accomplish in that moment by trying to resist? Y'all tell me. I'd like to know. What are you going to accomplish? I'm not saying resisting will end in the death all the time, nor should it. However, what good can come of you resisting? I'm trying to figure that out. All's going to happen is, at best, you get some kind of citation. Maybe they let you go, maybe. But you'll probably get locked up and you get charged. Whereas it could have just been a warning and that's it. A lot of times, these prosecutors don't even want to give you any kind of penalty. You might even be able to actually resist arrest, get locked up, go to court, and the case get thrown out. You probably won't necessarily, depending on where you are. But my point is that the laws are so weak. If you just get cuffed, get arrested, you'll get let out immediately, and it probably won't be a penalty. That's what I'm trying to say. However, you're running a risk by resisting. You might get let go, maybe, slim chance of that happening. You'll probably get locked up. And if you're on parole, forget about it. You're going back to jail. Or you might have a thing happen to you that's bad. Now, should it happen? No. But you're putting yourself in that situation. It's simple. The guys will go to jail, but you are still gone. You don't have your life anymore. So was it worth it? Oh, they got locked up, justice served. All right. But having that happen will not bring Tyre Nichols back. Stop resisting arrest. Every time these things happen, we say the same thing. Don't resist. It's simple. And everybody knows the cops went too far. That's not even the point. The point is that they wouldn't have even had any kind of dealing with him beyond a simple arrest, maybe, or not even an arrest. Probably would have been a traffic stop, ticket. All right, see you later. Something like that. If it was more than that, it wouldn't have been that much more than that. But now he's gone and these guys are going to get locked up. Now you're having so-called protests nationwide. It's all kind of stuff. Now, check it out. The protests, what are we protesting exactly? This ain't nothing but BLM 2.0. And because I'm going to tell you this. The only reason why anybody even cares is because it was the police that did this. And they shift the goalposts, right? First, it is about the white man. So let's say, for example, we're talking about, what's your man's name? Derek Chauvin, who had the knee on George Floyd's neck. What's the narrative there? White man kills black man. White officer kills innocent, unarmed black man. That's the narrative there. It's not true, but it doesn't really matter. That's the narrative. But then when it's 5 black officers who beat a black man to death, he died 3 days later in the hospital. When that happens, the race card all of a sudden doesn't even exist. All of a sudden, it becomes, oh, it's about power. Actually, you know what? And shout out to my brother right there, Brandon Tatum in the chat. Thank you for coming in, boss. Actually, it's not even about power necessarily all the time. They still say it's about race. They still say that although everybody was black involved, white supremacy is still there. Now, how weak must you be to think that the actions of black men against a black man is the fault of an invisible boogeyman, a white man? This is why I always joke about blame the white man, because they do all the time. It doesn't matter what it is. I wrecked my car, blame the white man. I got robbed today by another black man, blame the white man. Everything is the white man's fault. And at a certain point, take personal accountability for your actions or lack thereof. If you wanted to resist arrest, if you were high, drunk, behind the wheel, probation, parole, criminal record, blame yourself rather than the white man. And thank you for that, Brandon. Brandon said, thank you for standing for truth all the time, man. Nothing but the truth all the time. You know, it doesn't matter what anybody says, any kind of names they want to call you. The truth is the truth. And you know what's funny is that I put my video out. You know, you get all kind of names, all kind of COON, all kind of Uncle Tom and whatnot. You get all that stuff they throw at you. But then when I ask, hey, what did I say wrong? Where's the lie? Then they come up short. There is no response. There is no response for that because they don't have anything. They want to attack me, but they can't say that I'm a liar. So call me whatever you want out there. If you are a troll in the chat, any trolls in the chat, you want to call me whatever you want. Great. If you feel better afterward, then I support that. But let's talk about the facts of the case. Let's talk about what we saw on the tape. Did we see a thing on tape that was very bad? Did the officers overreact? Should be held accountable? Yes, they should be held accountable. Yes, they did overreact. Yes, they did do too much. But also, we saw the guy resist arrest. People could say, oh, and then the craziest one is, oh, well, at the end, he was not resisting. Well, yeah, at the end, he wasn't. But at the beginning, he most certainly was running away. Then they're talking about, oh, well, what would you do in a situation? Fight or flight? It's like, what do you mean? Everybody knows when you get the police to pull you over, no sudden movements, hand on the steering wheel, do what they tell you to do, don't say nothing, keep your mouth shut. It's not hard to understand. You can't just say, well, I had no control over it. Nah, you got to be a civilized human being and behave in society like all of us. We all are held to the same standard. And when you don't follow that standard, things happen sometimes that shouldn't happen. And it's so simple. It is so simple. Right? Yeah. And like I said, nobody's trying to excuse what they did. You know, they're holding them up, beating them. That's obviously inexcusable. But they wouldn't even been right there if not for the initial resisting. Just like Walter Scott in South Carolina. Now, obviously, the officer who killed him needs to be in jail. Obviously, like there's no denying that. He shot him. Like the guy, Walter Scott, tried to run away from the car. And as he's running, the officer shoots him in the back. It's no real effort to try and catch him. He's like not even really trying to run. He's just shooting him in the back because he can. He has a clear shot. And then he tried to cover it up. That was just an overall bad thing to do. Terrible thing to do. Okay. However, if Walter Scott stays in the car and doesn't try to run away with his handcuffs on, then there's no interaction with. Before Walter Scott got out the car, the officer was calm, playing Sublime in the background, the music, and you don't know what it's like, playing that in the background, right? I know white guys like that, super chill, super cool, but they might snap sometimes. And that's what happened. But it wouldn't have gone like that if we just stayed in the car. Where are you even going? You're running away with handcuffs on. Where are you going? That's what I'm saying. It's like we got to just stop doing things that put us in bad situations. It's like running out into a freeway and then you get hit by a car. Maybe the car or the driver of the car was drinking, right? And as a result of them drinking, they couldn't see you and they hit you and you died or you got seriously injured. Now, we could say the driver of the car shouldn't have been drinking, and that's right, that's correct. But you shouldn't have been out there in the freeway where cars are driving. You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be right there. Okay, you need to be off of the freeway where you got cars going 85 north, 85 south. Like the so-called people that protest blocking the interstate. Now, I did a video a while ago where somebody got hit on the interstate and they were trying to blame the driver. It's like, yo, you were on the interstate with nobody. It was like 3 people on the interstate, like on one lane with no lights really being able to show where they were at the bottom, at the base of the hill, kind of. So the road had a little bit of a hill in it. It went up, and on the down slope of the hill on the road, there was this little shelter with people in it. Not much lights. You couldn't see it. So if you're driving on this freeway at night, there's no cars around, nobody around, no sound or movement, no lights or nothing. You don't know to avoid this little area. And by the time you get to it, it's too late because the view is obstructed by the hill. You go over the hill and then somebody gets hit and they flying. How's that your fault? Yes, you hit them, but it's not really your fault. I mean, I don't know, man. I just see things. I just try to avoid situations that I can avoid. It's simple. Lamar Lee says, officer said that he was extremely strong, 6'3", 150 pounds. Was there a tox report? That's a good question. But we all know how guys can be when they're on drugs. I'm not saying he was on drugs, but we know how guys can be when they're on drugs. If he was on drugs, we know what's going on with that. We know that these guys get superhuman strength. They're on that PCP and other drugs. They can burst straight through a wall, Kool-Aid Man style. And that's being 100% serious. I done seen guys do a lot of crazy stuff you would not think they could do. They may look like they're weak and frail, but they may not be. And you never know what's going on with somebody. And that's just the truth. That is the truth. You never know what's going on with somebody. Now, when they do a tox report and they find he had been smoking, wet, like not the fentanyl, but the PCP, weed or whatever, then you be like, oh, okay, I get it. If they find that, I'm not saying they will, but they might. Because what they were talking about sounds like a guy that would be on that. It's so simple. Wake Up says some people panic and run when they are encountered by the cops. Just saying, no excuse to kill the young man. It was traffic stop. Well, nobody's saying that it was okay to kill him. But the point is, you shouldn't be running from the police. You shouldn't be trying to not only running from the police, but also not trying to get cuffed up, resisting arrest. And at a certain point, it's like, all right, hands behind your back, get cuffed up. You ran the first time, we got you on the ground, now get cuffed up. But you're constantly resisting, and then something bad happens, and everybody's all up in the uproar. And it's like, well, that could have been avoided easily, could have been avoided. Thank you to Mana Jamal, who says, no one wants to address the epidemic of black men believing we can fight police. Everyone believes their children will be felons and get arrested, can teach their kids how to behave when arrested. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a problem. It's an automatic lack of respect for authority. That's the actual issue here. No respect for authority. We do whatever we want. And then when there's a consequence, just or unjust, everybody wants to start crying. But it's like, this could have been avoided if you just had the proper tools to deal with authority rather than trying to buck against authority. Then you wouldn't be in that situation. I don't understand why it's so hard to understand. And furthermore, nobody would care about this case if you just had 4 black guys in Memphis, or 5 black guys in Memphis that killed another black guy in the same way. If they were not police officers, nobody would care at all. Another day in Memphis. Okay. Now, contrarily, if you had 5 white guys that were not police that killed that one black guy, oh, they would care then? Oh, yes, they would. Yes, they would. That black man's life would not matter if it was 5 regular black guys that did it. Oh, they're in poverty, all this and that, all kind of excuses they would make for that one. But then if you got 5 white guys, they could be in the same poverty. They could be from the same neighborhood as a black guy, the same poverty as a black guy. There'd be no excuses made. None of that would be going on. They would say hate crime right away, give them big rocks, little rocks, the rope, Supermax penitentiary up under the penitentiary. That's what they would say. Okay, they would call them neo-Nazis, white supremacists, terrorists, all that kind of stuff. If it was 5 white guys, regular white guys, not police, on another black guy killing them. But again, if it was 5 black guys, regular, not police, on a black guy killing them, then it wouldn't be a problem. But now, because they're police, it's a problem. People are going to say, oh, well, ABL, the police are supposed to serve and protect. They're not held to the same standard as regular civilians, and you're correct. And that points to what I just said about if it was regular white guys, it'd be the problem just the same as if it was police. So are white guys just some kind of special class that should protect and serve like police are? I don't understand that whole thing. Like I said, people don't really care unless it fits a certain political narrative. If they can fundraise on it, then it makes sense. They raised, when I say they, I mean BLM and BLM type organizations, they raised $10 billion off of George Floyd's grave. $10 billion US dollars. Not just BLM Global Network Foundation, but BLM and BLM type groups. They're satellite groups that are similar to them. $10 billion in 2021 or 2020, whatever that is. I think it was 2020. So right when he died, the 6 months after that was record breaking for fundraising, and they're still doing it. You got BLM and the black LGBT, same thing. White liberals, same thing, no different. Well, actually, BLM at the top level are LGBT. It is an LGBT movement at the top level. Now, if you got local guys and girls, a lot of them are activists and they really believe in what they say. I met a BLM guy out here in Tennessee, and he was very genuine. I like the guy. Shout out to him. He was very genuine, down to earth, not a rabble rouser or nothing like that. He didn't believe in the rights. He was kind of conservative, really. He just had certain beliefs that weren't conservative, and he wanted to go out there and peacefully protest. And I saw him out there doing what he was doing, and it did seem peaceful. But the problem is that a lot of the national organization, they want that blood. They want them riots. And local guys want riots too. We saw the GameStop get looted in Memphis. Who did that? Hold on, let's see if I put it on the screen right quick. I don't think BLM Global Network Foundation did that. Maybe they did, but I don't think they did. That was probably some local hooligans that did that. You got hooligans that are just local, that get into the mix and do stuff. Then you have real activists that try to do stuff. But overall, the whole thing is a grift and a sham to get money off of dead black men. And my thing is, to any black man out there listening to me, you don't want to be the next fundraising tool. You don't want to be the next George Floyd. George Floyd ain't nothing but a fundraising topic. Okay, we did X, Y, and Z to honor the memory of George Floyd. We put a statue out there that's tax deductible for George Floyd. It's all about getting money at the end of the day. And if you guys can't see it, I don't know what you're going to be able to see. If you guys can't see it's about money and greed, then you're not going to be able to see much of anything. All right. Let's go ahead and play this GameStop clip right quick.
What other one?
On Park Avenue. It's like they been in there one too.
Oh, really? God damn.
Look at this. I mean, they caved in the whole GameStop, and it's so bad. Now, I'm not sure if they were able to open up the gate. You know how they have like the metal or steel gate that's behind the glass when they close the doors for security? It looks like they smashed through the gate because the gate is like halfway closed. And the front of the glass, forget about it. They probably rammed a car into the actual GameStop. For what though? You're gonna steal PlayStation 5s and stuff like that? How is that gonna help honor the memory of Tyre Nichols? Y'all tell me.
Woo, empty. Shit. Well, she told me it took like 40 people. I ain't been down so long. You know what?
Crazy. So, did you hear what he said? Had a pickup truck and like 30 people. So they probably put the truck in reverse or drove straight through it, broke open the front, and did a flash rob to clear the store out. Oh, because Tyre Nichols, the dumbest thing in the world. Clear everything out.
What other one?
I mean, ridiculous. How is that going to help, man? You see that kind of stuff everywhere. Oh, they got to feed their family. That's right, Ivana. They gotta feed their family, right? They want some bread. Like who was that said that AOC? Oh, they just want bread when they feed their family. Oh, okay. So you're gonna steal video games from a game site? I'll do that. Alrighty, cool. Oh my goodness. And you know what? The team, part of the team that was I think the whole team that was out there that did this arrest were part of a specialized group in Memphis called Scorpion, and they are there to help with the high crime areas. Because let's talk about Memphis right quick. I'm not sure if I have yet spoken about Memphis specifically, but I live in Tennessee, right? I'm on the other side. I'm over here close to Georgia. Memphis is like Mississippi, basically. People asking me all the time, hey man, where should I go in Tennessee? Give me the top places. And I say, East Tennessee, Nashville, obviously, stuff like that. I would say Chattanooga, Knoxville, Nashville. Those are my main places to go in Tennessee. You can go to other places that are kind of close to Knoxville, Pigeon Forge, all of that. That's not far from Knoxville. Places like Brentwood and all of that. Ferguson. That's a Franklin part, not Ferguson. Franklin, Brentwood. That's not far from Nashville. Go there. Maybe even the Murfreesboro, if you're trying to stay somewhere that's not far from Nashville, but not in Davidson County. I say go there. But then they ask, hey, what about Memphis? I say, do not go to Memphis. Do not go to Memphis. I mean, you can go to Memphis if you want to. If you don't mind, risking your life, it's fine. Go to South Memphis right now. Go to North Memphis, South Memphis, Orange Mound. Go out there and have fun. I refuse. It is a very, very dangerous place to be for no reason at all. It's like, I can't even really put it into words. It's very dangerous. Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it. East St. Louis, yeah, don't do it. Do not do it. So my point is, they're talking about this police thing, and I put someone on Twitter. I was like, the police are your least concern in Memphis. The police are the least of your concerns in Memphis. If you go to Memphis, you have bigger fish to fry. You have bigger things to be worried about than the police in Memphis if you go there. Okay? Worry about these little 15-year-olds with ski masks on, calling them shiesties. They cover their face except for their eyes. Worry about them little boys right there that will kill you for absolutely nothing. For $20, they will kill you in the street, broad daylight. And they would go on First 48 and tell on the other homeboy that did it. These kids are brainless monsters. Worry about them, not the police. The police are going to be the last bastion of hope in many cases. They're going to be the cavalry that comes in. These guys did a bad thing, obviously. Ain't nobody going to deny that. However, Memphis, you have 305 murders in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. And the city ain't that big. What's the population in Memphis? Like 600,000, I think. Yeah, it's not that big. So 628,000 people in Memphis and 305 murders in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, you talking about how many murders in Chicago? In 2022. Okay, 695. So almost 700 compared to 300 in Memphis, but the population is like 2.7 million compared to 628,000. So it shouldn't be, it should be double if you're going to talk about being proportionate, the population, and then, you see what I'm saying? But it's, what I'm trying to tell you is the population of Memphis is too small for that many murders. It's dangerous. I refuse to go there. Now, of course, I'm sure there's nice places in Memphis like Mississippi, Arkansas, but Shelby County, no, I refuse. They have armed guards at the Love's gas station on the edge of town. Armed guards. You ever been to like a Love's gas station? I go there all the time. Well, I don't go to Love's anymore. I go to Buc-ee's, but same difference. Not really, but similar. It's a big gas station. They have armed guards outside. Remember the video I showed you of the guy in Philadelphia who was armed at a gas station? They have that in Memphis too. They don't want to show you that though. They'll talk about the police officers. Okay, why you got to have armed guards at a gas station? A gas station. Imagine going to your local filling station back in the day and having it be protected by an armed guard. You're talking about third world country stuff right here in America. You go to Africa sometimes and you go into kind of like, you might be a celebrity or something like that. They give you an armed guard. Yo, take them. And it might be a few armed guards with rifles right here on their chest. Like, it's just regular. In the States, it's not quite that way. If you get a security guard, it'd be a concealed handgun. Overseas, third world country, rifle right here. And it'd be about 4 or 5 guys just like that. Ready to get rocking and rolling. They have that right here in America. So you got to ask yourself, what's the bigger issue in Memphis? Is it the police or the general crime that plagues the city? Like, what's really going on? You know what? And it's like the same thing in New Orleans. It's like a plague. And I'm going to say this. I got a video I'm going to show you of Juvenile, the rapper from Hot Boys, Lil Wayne, Cash Money. He had something he said. I got to find that. I'm going to find this. I'm going to find this particular thing that he said. He was talking about how bad it is in New Orleans. Like, if you get into an argument with somebody, you got to kill them. If you get into an argument with somebody, you got to kill them because it'll never end. It'll be a problem. I'm going to find that right quick. And in the meantime, if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. There we go. Here it is.
What's crazy about
So hear this, what he said right here. Again, this is Juvenile from the rap group, the Hot Boys back in the day from New Orleans. He's talking about how bad it is in New Orleans as far as the violence. And the same thing can be seen in a lot of cities like this, Memphis and Detroit, Chicago, etc. Y'all know the deal.
about New Orleans is when you have an argument with somebody, you pretty much got to kill them. And the reason why is New Orleans is one of them situations where they don't care who you with or where you at or what you into. When I catch you, I'm gonna kill you. I don't care who with you. They shouldn't have been with you. And that's what I think is real up about my city.
So this ain't about rap. This is about New Orleans. That's how it is. If you argue with somebody, you got to kill them. Because when they see you the next time, they'll kill you. And whoever's right there with you. Just brainless stuff. Brainless. But the police are the problem. Let's defund the police. Let's defund them. Right? So rather than catching the killer that would do something like that, a violent, dangerous, deranged person, rather than catching them, let's go ahead and take away the ability to catch them by defunding the police and just let them have at it. I mean, at a certain point, it's like, is there a motivation behind that? Is there a reason? Is there a reason for that? I just kind of want to understand the whole thing. It's like that in Memphis. They killed Young Dolph. So many guys that got killed in Memphis. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, I refuse to go to Memphis. Nah. I mean, I might go for a Grizzlies game. If I go for a Grizzlies game, I'm not going to be hanging out trying to, be a tourist. No, Not during nighttime. Maybe in the daytime it'd be all right, but not at nighttime. Even in the daytime, I got to be careful. Yeah, getting gas is like that in parts of Atlanta too. I know I go to Atlanta a lot. I know kind of how to move around at this particular point. Certain areas I don't go to at night. I'm not from there. I mean, people not really going. I just know kind of how to move around. But anyway, I digress. I'm gonna read some of the comments here. Then I keep on rocking and rolling here. Yeah. Anthony Williams says, get 100 people dressed as Batman. We'll take care of business. Watch it happen. I mean, I don't know about that. You know, maybe you could do something like that, but I think the Batman attire might need to get upgraded. Can we get a bulletproof vest in the Batmobile? In the bat suit and a bulletproof Batmobile? Can we get that going on? Because you're going to need that trying to deal with these hooligans out here, these miscreants. I'm talking about these guys are like kamikaze pilots. They will kill you, and it don't matter if they get shot in the process. Like, it's a lot of these guys are like 15 years old that do stuff like this. They don't mind actually dying. They don't even really care. They get shot, it's like a badge of honor. They got TikToks that they do where they say, I still survived. Hold on, I'm gonna play this one. I'll play this, and I'm gonna play this clip, and then you're gonna see the mentality of these guys. You're gonna see what the police are dealing with. You gotta see what they're dealing with to really kind of understand the whole situation. All right. Wait a minute. I gotta find that. I don't even know where it's at, but I'm gonna find it somewhere. All right, but we got more topics on deck. I don't know what I'm gonna get to next. There's quite a bit happening, but to close that particular topic up about the Tyre Nichols the beating. May he rest in peace. You know, it's really unfortunate what happened, and I think the officers will be held accountable. They did go way overboard. However, I think there should still be a teaching moment here. You can't. I don't think it's appropriate to just say that. I don't think it's appropriate to say that the officers were totally in the wrong and the person that was victim was not in the wrong. That's not appropriate to say. I mean, I guess we can say that. You can if you want to, but I think that's inappropriate to say. I think what makes the most sense is to say that people need to take accountability for their actions and do not place yourself in a bad situation. It's very simple. Oh, here it is. Watch this. Look at this. Now, this boy got to be probably about 14, 15, typical age of the brainless, shooter. And he is in the hospital, half dead, got shot. And listen.
I'm still alive. I'm still alive.
Shit, barely.
By the grace of God, my boy.
You see what I'm talking about? That's you're dealing with that. What are you going? What kind of? And then they're talking about what is community outreach, community policing. What are you going to do with that? It's the same kind of thing they're talking about. What you got to do is have harsh penalties for these guys, because you got to have harsh penalties and more police. Because if there's fewer police, there's more of a chance they're going to be able to do things, get away with it. They're going to be career criminals out there with little resistance. And when they do get caught, they get slaps on the wrist, no prosecution, no jail time. So they go out and do the exact same thing over and over again. You got to be heavy-handed with these guys. In VA, you could be an adult in the eyes of the law at age 14. You could be charged as an adult at age 14 in Virginia. Okay? You got guys 14 years old doing adult sentences, and rightfully so. When you go rob a gas station, kill the clerk, that type of stuff. When you go beat old ladies in the head, carjack and kill the old lady, you got to go. But when that is not really there, when the punishment ain't there, it's just whatever. I'm going to just do whatever I want. And when I get shot and almost die, I'm still alive. You see what I'm saying? That's kind of what's going on. You got to go hard on these boys, because if you don't, they're not going to. And what else they say? They say nighttime basketball, the dumbest things in the world. Nighttime basketball, anybody going there? The good kids go to nighttime basketball if they go at all. And the good kids ain't gonna go neither because that's where the drama happens. You get good kids that get killed at nighttime basketball. They're gonna be in the house playing on the Xbox. They're not gonna be outside trying to duck bullets. But I digress. I'm getting too triggered talking about because now having personal flashbacks of my own childhood. I remember the whole nighttime basketball thing. I remember all the community activism. When I would hear that when I was a kid, I'd be like, man, ain't nobody gonna do that. Nobody's going to do that. And nobody's paying that any kind of mind at all. The bad kids need to be dealt with, period. And if they're not dealt with, then they're going to keep on doing what they do. But let's move on to the next topic. And we're speaking about bad kids, bad people, Paul Pelosi, and the whole incident with the footage. Now, we've seen the footage. Most of us have seen the footage already of Paul Pelosi being attacked by David DePape, and also David DePape breaking into the back. Now, here's a question I have for you guys. Do you think the footage answered more questions or raised more questions? I'm gonna do a poll. Okay, and let's see how I'm gonna word it. Did the Paul Pelosi footage A, answer more questions, answer your questions? Let me just type this right. Or B, I don't need to do A and B. I could just say answer your questions or raise more questions. Okay, that's a poll right there. So did the Paul Pelosi footage answer your questions or raise more questions? For me, it raised more questions because I don't understand the whole thing with the hammer, and I don't understand who opened the door. Let's go ahead and just put it on the screen right quick so you have a visual aid rather than me just talking about it. I'm going to put it on the screen so you guys see what I'm talking about. So Paul Pelosi did call the police. Matter of fact, I have the audio. I have the audio of the police interaction. I'll play that right quick, and then we're going to get to the actual video. I found the audio after I did my video. That's why I didn't include it, but I did put it on the website, by the way, anthonyblogan.com/contact. And
Please.
Here we go. It's not any video, just audio, obviously, because it's a 911 call. Let's go ahead and just put it on the screen.
74.
2022.
Oh, I guess I called by mistake. What is this?
18 seconds.
This is San Francisco Police. Do you need help?
Oh, well, there's a gentleman here just waiting for my wife to come back. Nancy Pelosi.
2:23 and
he's just waiting for her to come back because she's not going to be here for a day, so I guess we'll have to wait.
Okay, do you need police, fire, or medical for anything?
8 seconds.
I don't think so.
2:23 and 58 seconds.
Is the Capitol Police around?
2:20.
No, this is San
They usually
Francisco.
protect my wife. They're usually here at the house protecting my wife.
No, this is San Francisco Police.
So the operator does not know who he is. That's what's going on. You would think that somebody in the area would know who Nancy Pelosi is, but she does not know. Apparently.
Friday, October.
I understand.
2022.
Okay, well,
2:24 and
what do you think?
18 seconds.
Think everything's good? He thinks everything's good. I've got a problem, but he thinks everything's good.
Okay. Call us back if you change your mind.
No. This gentleman just came into the house, and he wants to wait here for my wife to come home. And so,
and 48.
anyway, he told me to put the phone down.
Do you know who the person is?
No, I don't know who he is. He has this. He's telling me not to. He's telling me not to do anything.
What is your address, sir?
26.
Sorry for the loud noise.
2:25 and 0.
What is your name?
Seconds.
My name is Paul Pelosi.
Friday.
Anyway, this gentleman says that he thinks everything ought to, he told me to put the phone down and just do what he says.
18 seconds.
Okay?
Okay, what's the gentleman's name?
I don't know. What's that?
My name's David.
The name is David.
So you heard David in the background saying what his name was. This whole thing is weird. And the operator is not really she's not picking up on a hint. I'm sure that people have called the police and they've been vague about what's happening because the person is right there and they don't want to get hurt. You see what I'm saying? But she's not picking up on what he's saying. Now, eventually she does pick up, but it took her a while. She almost hung up on him, like right in the middle of the call. She almost hung up on him.
Okay, and who is David?
I don't know. What's that?
I'm a friend of theirs.
Yeah, he says he's a friend, but as I said, I've never.
But you don't know who he is?
25 and
No, ma'am.
48 seconds.
Okay.
He's telling me I'm being very leading, so I got to stop talking to you, okay?
25 and
okay. You sure I can stay on the phone with you just to make sure everything's okay?
No, he wants me to get the hell off the phone.
0 to 26
okay.
and 0 8
Thank you.
seconds.
Okay, bye. Please.
So a squad car did come out there. 2 officers did come out there, and that's where the footage picks up. Now, how do you feel about that whole interaction? Was that good service or not? I mean, I'm not a person that really knows about how they operate. I don't want to say 9-1-1. I want nothing to go off in here. You understand what I'm talking about? When you call in the number, is that how they're supposed to respond? I'm not really sure. Y'all let me know if you are familiar with it. Now, let's take a look at David DePape allegedly breaking into the back of the home.
We also have our first look at the video on the attack of Paul Pelosi, husband of former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Look at this. Now, remember I told you that there were going to be things other than the police body cam that would be released. This is the surveillance video outside the home, and that is the suspect, DePape. And you see him, he put some items down, you see him breaking some glass and the fragments of glass that are breaking now. Emily, talk to me about this as evidence in the case.
Well, so keep in mind that this suspect is facing federal charges and state at the same time, right? In December, he was indicted, penalty 20 years.
We also have our first.
So that was him breaking into the back. You saw what was going on there, and then he eventually goes inside. Now, some say this was not really him because he had lighter colored shorts, but to defend that, like I have a camera in front of my house, and when it's on night vision mode, I look like I'm lighter. I look like almost white, and obviously I'm not. So that could be it. I'm just giving a possible explanation for that. Now let's look at the actual police body cam footage, which is very confusing, very, very confusing. Let's check it out. And y'all, please let me know what you think about the body cam footage in the comments as we watch it. The sound is on. There we go.
Yeah, definitely don't want all up here. I definitely don't want all up here. Hello. Yeah. Fucking said 2620, right? No, 2640. Oh, 40. Yeah, it literally said that.
So, right away, pause. We got a question. The door's opening. We see David DePape and Paul Pelosi. Now, this was something like right here is when all the questions start. Okay, can we just do a little bit of I'm gonna rewind that a little bit, much as I can. So who opens the door? Is it David DePape? Because they're wrestling over the hammer here. Okay. Now, the hand that DePape may have used to open the door, if he opened the door, is on the hammer. So did Paul have the hammer in his hand completely? Did DePap have it in one hand and move it to the other to continue to grip it? Like, what's going on there? Who opens the door? His hands are, he doesn't have a hand by the door right here. So did he open the door? Paul Pelosi has a drink in his hand. I don't know what's in the drink. If it's water, if it's liquor or whatever's going on. They both have their hands occupied, basically. David DePatt has one hand that is being blocked. You see, like, okay, so here's the hammer, right? My little water bottle. It's being gripped by Paul Pelosi. Now, DePapp's other hand is behind this action, so he can't move that forward. And then Paul has the hand on the hammer and then one hand on the drink. So the question is, who opened the door? Did DePapp do it some kind of way? Did Paul do it some kind of way? Who opens the door?
Hi, how you doing?
And it appeared like it was being opened slowly and not like you would open it and it would just swing back kind of quickly. So here's when the confusion started, because first they said that Paul Pelosi opened the door and then went back to the actual intruder. Then they said it was a third party that was there who was not DePapp or Pelosi who opened the door. But as we see, they're at the door together. Why does Paul have on a pair of underwear with a regular color shirt on and a drink in his hand? Well, I mean, I'm not saying anything other than asking questions. What is a problem? And it's like 2:30 in the morning. What is a problem here? I have so many questions. I'm not saying anything other than asking questions. Let's just keep on rolling here. Let's keep on rolling.
What's going on, man?
Everything's good.
Hi. Drop the hammer.
Nope.
Hey.
What is going on right now?
I'm not getting any answer.
So right here, I got to pause it. This is obviously where DePapp does strike Pelosi. Now, the officers, when they get to the front door, some are saying, well, they were incompetent. They should have known better. I kind of understand where they're coming from because they don't know what's going on. Okay, they don't know if this is like some kind of lover's quarrel, a home invader. It just seems so weird. They don't understand what's going on. Now, at a certain point, you see the hammer right there, and they're clearly wrestling over it. So you got to act on that right away. You can't just be kind of stunned and frozen. But I can understand why they'd be stunned and frozen, because it could be some weird San Fran stuff, some weird kinky stuff that's going on and not necessarily a criminal thing. However, if you get caught to the house, then maybe it's something criminal going on. Just maybe. If you get caught to the house and they are fighting over a hammer, then maybe you should be able to disarm the hammer away from them. Draw the gun, get on the ground, freeze. But then also, you don't really know who is the aggressor because they both have the hammer. So I can understand why they might freeze in that situation. But we got to do something here. And now I understand, because I was confused. Like, how did DePapp strike Pelosi with the hammer and almost kill him right in front of the cops? How did the cops get there? And then he strikes Pelosi with the hammer. It didn't make any sense. But now I get it. But again, I still have more questions and answers. Now, let's get past a little bit. It's going to be a little bit of cussing, so please hide your kids, hide your wife. So right here, Paul is knocked out. I don't know if he was unconscious, if he was snoring, or what kind of breathing that was, but I do hear a noise.
Edward 14, Everton, back up, code 3.
My fucking hand! Units code.
So you hear the noise right there, and that's kind of what they was. They arrested Pat right there, and Paul obviously is on the ground. Now, what you see right here is not blood on the ground. That's his drink. You see the ice in the drink. So I just have questions. Why was he holding a drink with ice in it while at the same time trying to wrestle away the hammer from David DePapp? I don't really get it. What was the purpose of doing? Like, okay, if I'm If it's a home invader, I don't think, hey, let me grab my drink right quick with ice in it. Now, I thought it might have been water, but why would you have ice in water? I mean, maybe it's kind of an old school thing to have ice water, but it just seems like it doesn't make any sense. So this is why I say the video raises more questions than it answers questions. What we do know now is that there wasn't I knew it was an attack. I didn't think it was a fake attack. We know that he did break the back window, but what we don't know is how the door got open. We don't know why he had a drink in his hand. And we don't necessarily know if the pap knew them before this whole thing started. It just seems all the way weird. Now, I think there was an interview with the pap. Let's see if I can find that. I gotta be a thorough person. I can't just show half of the situation. And in the video, I read the description, and they said that the reason why he went to the Pelosi's house is because he was mad at what Pelosi was talking about when it came to Donald Trump. So basically, they're trying to say he was a Trump supporter, according to what the pap said in the interview.
28, 2000.
Now, the thing about the interview is that it's audio only. I've never seen an interview with a suspect in police custody that was audio only. Maybe that's how they do things in San Francisco or California, but it's audio only. And it's a long interview. I don't really have a lot of time to play it, but I'm going to just read the description. I might play a little bit of it, but I'll read the description. It says, in a jailhouse interview shortly after his arrest, the suspect accused in the October attack of Paul Pelosi, David Wayne DePape, told police that he targeted the Pelosi home because he was enraged by lies that U.S. Rep. Nancy Pelosi and Democrats had smeared or spread about former President Donald Trump. That's what the description says. This is from San Fran Chronicle, and that's just what it is. Now, of course, this is going to add more fuel to the quote-unquote conspiracy fire, because it's like, this could be fake. This could be anybody talking. You don't see any video with the audio. Why is there no video with the audio? Why can't we see his face? It's just like Damar Hamlin. Damar Hamlin is like, yo, what's going on with that? Now, I'm not going to say that Damar Hamlin is a clone or anything weird like that, but why not show his face? What's the purpose in doing that? Is this some kind of brand deal? Like, you got to understand, what happened to Damar Hamlin on the field was gruesome. So we need to know if he's okay. We need to see his face. We need to get reassurance that way. And if you're not going to do that, then maybe don't pop out there until you're prepared to show your face. Don't try and rebrand yourself like, oh, I ain't going to show my face. I'm mysterious. Nah, all you're going to do is make me think that you're not even really alive anymore. Okay, whether that's true or not, I'm going to suspect that something's going on. But I'll play a little bit of this right here. And again, it's like almost 18 minutes long, so I won't play the entire thing. But it's on the San Fran Chronicle on the YouTubes. And the title says, Paul Pelosi attack, San Fran police interview David DePape following his arrest.
2022 at 0736. This is in regards to case number 220-741-717. Going to attempt to conduct an interview with David DePape. D-E-P-A-P-E. David? How you doing? I'm Sergeant Hurley with the San Francisco D-A-V-I-G. Do you have any middle name, David? Wait, okay. David, what's your date of birth?
January 22nd.
Let's go ahead a little bit here. I'm trying to get to something about why he did what he did, if he's going to say something.
Make sure that you're okay, you know, and, you know, why did you, how did you end up there today, this morning?
Well, I mean, I don't want to talk to you about it. I don't feel like talking about it right now.
Okay.
You know. But yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to like get away with it, so you know.
Okay, I mean, my patience is thin as thin could be. My patience is super thin, Thin as the brand new veneer on the ugly statue in New York City. Have you guys seen that thing? I gotta show that right quick too. Can we get some timestamps, please? I mean, good grief. Like, I don't have that much time. But basically, that's what they said about it. I read what they said, but I don't have time because you don't got that much time in this world to listen to the whole interview. And then the audio, I mean, what are they recording that on? The potato? This is 2023. Can we get some crystal clear HD 4K audio rather than up under the tape? Like, you're being interviewed by the police, have a microphone right there, put a Shure MV7 hooked up to a laptop and record it right there. Do a whole podcast. Can I get that kind of quality audio? I mean, what in the world? Anyway, I'm getting triggered. So I'll go ahead and digress. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Let me show that ugly statue right quick. Hold on, give me 1 second. That thing was a mess. And artwork has become ugly nowadays. It really has. So let's show this right quick. Okay. So Andrew Beck, I'm not sure who that is. This person says a new statue atop a New York City courthouse. The artist says it's part of an, quote, urgent and necessary cultural reckoning underway as New York considers traditional representations of power in public spaces and recast civic structures to better reflect 21st century social mores. So basically, it's more woke. Now, is this satanic? I see serpents. I see horns on this particular thing. Okay. Now, look at the contrast. You have classic beauty in this statue. Classic pieces of architecture next to this trash. I mean, complete trash. This is like the contrast is crazy. You know, the way buildings were built back in, 1800, 1700, before that, even early 19th or 20th century was beautiful. The way things are built now, it's like Chinese. And I don't mean that in a racial way. I'm talking about how Chinese society kind of like builds trash, like the tofu construction. It might last a year and it's pretty much gone. It's like cars now too. Some cars last a long time. Shout out to Toyota, but a lot of these cars, they're engineered to last for a very short period of time. So you go out and buy another one. They're like toy cars essentially. But back in the day, cars lasted a lot longer. This is a big contrast that the plastic crap and the classic construction. Look at this. Ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. It said Medusa, Jezebel spirit, the arms of serpents. Let me see if I can find an article about this. Again, that's on a New York City courthouse. Let me find the statue. Let me find the article about the statue. Okay. So now this right here, you never guess what it's supposed to be. Okay. New York elevates horned statue paying homage to RBG and abortion. Okay, so that's supposed to be Ruth Bader Ginsburg. You see the little chest piece, whatever they call that right there, that RBG would wear on a gown, and that's supposed to be her face. It does look satanic, as critics say. I'm seeing ram horns and I'm seeing serpents. If that ain't satanic, I don't know what it is. You're talking about Baphomet right there. That's a idealized version of Baphomet. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but y'all let me know what you think in the comments below. Y'all let me know what do you see when you see that? Do you see what I see, or you see something beautiful? If you say it's beautiful, I'm going to question your honesty. I ain't going to call you a liar, but I will question your honesty for sure. Okay, so wait a minute. Let's read this right quick. Okay, Madison Square Park. Shazia Sekander's Hava to breathe air life is now open. Madison Square Park, and on top of the rooftop of the courthouse of the Appellate Division, First Department of the Supreme Court of State of New York. The multimedia project focuses on women and justice and includes 2 golden female figures. Oh, it's 2 of them. Okay. 2 golden female figures. a video projection, and an AR experience. However, it's commissioned by Public Art of University of Houston System. It's ugly. It's completely ugly, and there's no way around that. That's modern art for you. It's not beautiful the way it used to be. It's like, man, come on. Y'all know, maybe y'all don't know, maybe you do know, but I've said it before. I'm an artist. Like, I'm an actual visual artist. I don't rap or sing or do nothing like that. I'm not going to sit here and dance. I'm not an artist that way. I'm like a visual artist. And I hated the art world when I got into it, or kind of like peeked behind the curtain. I didn't like what I saw. It was so pretentious and weird and phony. If I was, back in early 1900s, it would have been much better. If I was born in a different era, I probably would be an artist, not be a very good artist. But I lost my desire to really get involved with it when I saw how weird it was. Yeah, I lost my desire. I didn't like it at all. It wasn't really something I was interested in. And you see why. That kind of stuff right there gets pushed to the forefront. It's like being a scientist to a certain extent. Like, if you're going to be a scientist and you want to really help people, but you running up against a brick wall called politics and things of that nature, and you might kind of get discouraged. Like the frontline doctors. Shout out to Dr. Stella Emanuel. People like that getting villainized to try to put her in the penitentiary, all because she wants to do the right thing by people. But once you get politics and big money involved, you see what's really important. That's kind of what it is. All right. So let me end this poll right here. The poll I had about the Pelosi footage. And the question was, did the Pelosi footage raise more questions or answer your questions? And 84% of you guys said raise more questions. Out of 620 votes, pretty good turnout for the votes. And you guys feel like me, the video definitely raised more questions. It answered some things, but it raised more questions. It didn't, like something, like the whole thing about the glass in his hand. I didn't know about that. That was a brand new thing. I did not know about how the officers came to the door. I did not know about how the door opened. I did not know that they came to the door together. I did not know that they were fighting for the hammer right at the door. I did not know about the glass in the hand. I did not know about the glass, the ice in the glass that fell on the ground, as you can see on the body cam. I did not know about any of that. So I have more questions than I have answers. Also, is there no alarm? If you beat in the back of somebody's glass in, is there no alarm? Where's the security? There's cameras right there from the Capitol Police. Nobody sees this guy busting the door down with a hammer for a minute or more. It's so many questions that I have now that I did not have before, because I didn't have the information wasn't there before. Now I have the information. Now I have more questions. It's simple. Yeah, that drink was crazy. That drink, it's like, what you got a drink for? What are you even doing? Like, if you got a home invader, put the drink down. You know what I mean? Put the drink down. I promise the drink ain't going nowhere. All you got to do is just, figure out a way to defend yourself until the police get there. And when they get there, run out to them. That was so weird. Beyond weird, I would say. But I digress. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Thank you for that, Diane B. Diane says, great detective work, ABL. I try to do my best. I just observe things and I ask questions. That's all. Oh, we got some good footage. I might not be able to get to TJ Holmes, but I have some good footage from Project Veritas. Have you guys seen the Project Veritas video? If you haven't, you got to watch it. This video was unhinged. Unhinged. Now, shout out to Project Veritas doing the Lord's work. They got a strike on YouTube for putting the video out about this guy. The full video. I did not get a strike because I ain't put out the whole video. I put out like a clip of it. I ain't put out the whole thing. They put out, 10 minutes of whatever. So there's a guy that works for Pfizer. His name is, hold on, I don't want to get it wrong, Jordan Tristan Walker. He is a director over at Pfizer. He's not the director of Pfizer. He's a director at Pfizer, meaning he's a director of a certain department. Here's his full title. Director, Worldwide Research and Development, Strategic Operations, and mRNA Scientific Planning. I know it's a long name, like your man, the kleptomaniac in the Biden administration, the cross-dresser, looking like Dragon Ball Z, Krillin, looking like Matt Damon, then went rogue and had a change in his life. But anyway, remember that guy? His title was super long like that too, talking about Deputy Secretary of Assistant, Waste, Energy Management, Fuel Spent. It was like 15 words in the title. Ridiculous. How about you just say Deputy of X, Y, and Z and leave it at that? But I digress. The whole point is this guy, Mr. Walker, works for Pfizer, and he was caught on a Project Veritas tape thinking that it was a date between him and some guy, because he's LGBT, of course. He thought it was a date, but it was not a date, and he gets to talking. Now, he was talking about how at Pfizer, they may allegedly, possibly want to make changes to the virus to then create a brand new vaccine to combat it. Basically, gain-of-function research, what they did in Wuhan, China. And he said that what they are talking about doing is dangerous because that's what spread the virus in the first place. To me, that was the biggest thing that came from the whole situation. Not that Pfizer wants to do it, allegedly, but that what we said from the beginning was right about the whole lab leak theory. Remember they said that we are racist for thinking that? You're racist for thinking that? That's not the way it happened. It came from a wet market. I did not think for 1 minute that it made sense. Like if I have all information, check it out. If I know that there's two things going on or two possibilities, the first one is a fact that there is a biolab right there in Wuhan, China, where they're doing gain-of-function research where they actually manipulate viruses, make them more deadly to do research on them. If I know that's right there in Wuhan and a virus just happens to start right there in Wuhan that's killing everybody right in that place, why would I think that that story does not make sense or makes less sense than a bat got the virus and somebody ate the bat and then it spread around? That makes no sense. It makes more sense to say that they created a virus right there, it leaked, and then everybody got sick. A bat? Really? So some random dude ate a bat and everybody got sick from that? Come on, be for real. Be for real. We all know what happened. And it came out in 2019. That's when it really came to our shores, in 2019. That's why it's called COVID-19. That's when it came out, not 2020 when the pandemic happened. But I digress. The whole point is that now we know, or you have a guy that works at Pfizer who is in charge of the mRNA stuff. He's saying what we said from the beginning, that we were called crackpots and tinfoil hat wearers and Trump supporting QAnon basement dwellers. We were called that for saying that exact thing that was obvious anybody with a pair of eyes on the brain. But anyway, he's recorded saying all this stuff on an undercover camera. And then on the last day, he got suspicious. And then here comes James O'Keefe. Now, I'm going to play that particular piece because they're not going to strike that. I done already played that on the YouTube. It's just that one little piece right there. Because this part right here was epic. You talking about Joey Greco status, Chris Hansen status. This was brilliant. Brilliant.
Hey there. Is this seat taken? You work for Pfizer. My question for you is, why does Pfizer want to hide from the public the fact that they're mutating the COVID viruses?
Is this real life? I'm literally a liar. I was trying to impress a person on a date by lying. This is absurd.
Please don't touch me. Well, this is not. By the way, don't tell anybody.
This is someone who's just working at a company to literally help the public. You up. You really did. Please bring the cops as soon as possible. I'm really very unsafe.
Can you please unlock your door?
No, don't let them leave.
Please unlock the door.
Give me. What is going on here?
Please unlock. Please unlock the door. Please unlock the door. Unlock the door. We're trying to unlock the door. Unlock the door.
That right there was totally crazy. So that's your man right there on a date, smiling like everything's all right, getting recorded. And then at this point, he thought that he about to get caught. I'll play this part. This part you about to see right here came right before the freak out. Because right here, he's on a date with the guy, right? The fake date. And after he gets kind of suspicious, James O'Keefe comes out. So, hey, can I sit here? You know, that type of thing. It's just like Chris Hansen. Hey, who you here to meet? Yeah, her name's Jennifer, and she's 16. Well, right here, she says, hold on, how did I say? She said she was 13 years old. And what'd you bring with you? Did you bring anything for entertainment? Yeah, but I always have it in my bag with me. I always have it in my bag. You know how they do. And it's like, well, you're free to go. Are the police outside? Well, I can't control that. I have no control over that. I don't really know, but you're free to go. And then they get arrested and the whole thing happens. This kind of gives me that vibe. Now, it's for a good cause, right? Because you're dealing with guys that are trying to take advantage of children. You need to go to the penitentiary ASAP, okay? That's a great thing for society. And the same thing with this guy. Let's expose what's happening with Project Veritas to really, not Project Veritas. Let's expose what's happening with Pfizer and other companies through Project Veritas to see what's really going on with society, for sure.
I got those like an interview. I don't know, it's freaking me out. I mean, these like flashbacks to that like sting organization of like those conservative people who like randomly go into organizations and then like befriend people who work in these organizations and then report them, which happened to people at Pfizer. So it's like freaks me out when people start asking a lot of questions about.
So this guy is aware of Project Veritas and what they do, and people at Pfizer have been caught up like that, but yet he's still flapping them gums talking about, oh, well, we do gain of function research and we're trying to get into that. And, we don't want to get caught out there because it's like Wuhan, China, and it's very sensitive information. But I'm going to tell you, some random dude at the bar that I'm trying to go ahead and take to the Motel 6, you know what I'm saying? Like, not a very smart guy. If he was a tree, he would be a few short of a forest. You see what I'm saying?
Really?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Why are we back on this company?
Because I just want to know the answer.
I don't know why you're recording me. Oh my god, Jason, that'd be horrible. You better not be recording me or something like that.
Hey there. Is this seat taken?
What?
Hi. You work for Pfizer. My question for you is, why does Pfizer want to hide from the public the fact that they're mutating the COVID viruses?
Is this real life? What is happening here?
The bewilderment was real. The bewilderment. What is happening here? Oh, what is happening? Why you gonna call the police? What's they gonna do? You calling the police for what? What are they gonna do? He's just asking you questions. He's just like, well, sir, is this you? You're talking about mutating the virus? Do you work at Pfizer, sir? Do you work at Pfizer? And he trying to break the iPad. He broke the iPad thinking that the video was only on there and it wasn't nowhere else. Like they don't got that already on the server. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's totally crazy. But I'm glad this video got out there. I'm glad that they were able to catch this guy talking about what he was talking about. His reaction was to say that he's a liar, but he's not a liar. He was telling the truth, for sure. All righty. So that's that. So shout out to Project Veritas for always keeping the thumb on the pulse of what's happening in the world. Always. Yeah. Fired. Yeah, hold on. I gotta show that meme right quick. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. And let me show that right quick. The fired meme. Wait a minute. Let me show that. Yeah, there it is right there. Fired. That is hilarious. And he will probably get fired. Or worse, because you're talking about Pfizer. They get a little different. They get a lot different for sure. So yeah, shout out to them. Shout out to them. Shout out to him and Project Veritas for, for showing what's really going on. Yeah, there is no. I mean, he was panicking though. He thought the footage was right there on the iPad, but it's like, no, sir. We have more copies than this. It's not just right there on the iPad. We have more copies that exist than this. That's just what's going on with that. Hey, somebody says he's going to get whacked. I ain't say he was going to get whacked, but I'm saying it's Pfizer, and hey, they have connections. They do have connections. They can make things happen. They can make things disappear or whatever it is. The cracking on the ceiling, that's a great question. It might be the theme of the bar that he was at. I don't really know what's going on. Why the cracking is right there. I have no clue. That's a very good question. There's all kind of stuff going on, but if you like what you're hearing so far, I know what to do. And if you are listening to me on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether it be Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, Anchor, etc., please give me a 5-star rating. Give me a review. Do whatever you can. And I most certainly appreciate it. And if you don't know, if you listen to me right now on the YouTubes, live or on the replay, you can find me audio only on those streaming platforms. Just search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. Okay. We got super chats on deck, and then I'm going to get to the calls. I think I was not able to get to the TJ Holmes story. I may do that next time because that story is very interesting. I'll say this very quickly. TJ Holmes and Amy Robach got fired from ABC. And what they did was the same thing as what Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough did. But the difference between Mika and Joe and Amy and TJ is that they're on NBC versus ABC. And ABC is Mickey Mouse, MICKEY, Disney. So that's probably the biggest thing. Some are going to say it's a racial thing, but I don't think so. But for now, I digress. I'll talk about that a little bit more on the next one. But let's go ahead and get to the super chats here. Thank you to Razorback, who says, let's go ABL. Best show on the tube. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Thank you to AZ Shooty, who says, ABL, has anyone ever told you you saw exactly like Chilla B from Nucleus? Jam on it. I've not heard that one. That's a good one. Like I sound like that person. Hold on. AZ Shooty says, ABL was street. Listen to the song, jam on it. Used to go by Chili B. Listen to the song and tell me I'm lying. All right, I'll have to check it out. I sound like him or I look like him. Okay, I'll check him out for sure. Thank you to Harry Challenger, who says, became a new support. Thank you for that, for being a supporter. Thank you to Bob MIT, who says, I hope Brandon Tatum calls in. I'll love to hear what he thinks. Thank you to Never Offended, who says, I'm eating beef stew and cornbread tonight. Shout out to you. Thank you to Minor Jamal for the super chat I read earlier. He said, no one wants to address the epidemic of black men believing we can fight the police. Everyone believes their children will be felons and get arrested. Can they teach their kids how to behave when arrested? Exactly. Thank you to Wake Up, who says, some people panic and run when they're encountered by cops. Just saying, no excuse to kill the young man with traffic stop. Thank you to James Brandon, who says, as a libertarian and a son of a sheriff, I will say it's insane how many conservatives speak against tyranny but refuse to critique cops. I mean, is that directed towards me? I'm not sure how that can be because I said that the cops were overboard. So, I mean, who is that super chat for? It's not for me. Maybe because I didn't say, like, the police were wrong and then that the guy did nothing. Like, I'm going to tell you the whole truth. I'm going to say the police did wrong, but also, if you don't resist arrest, then it doesn't happen in the beginning. If there's no resisting arrest, then there's no negative consequence. The consequence should not have happened, but it would not have happened if there was no resisting. It's very simple. I have never in my life, in my whole 38 years of living, seen a police beating or shooting or anything like that, police brutality, where the person was doing absolutely nothing wrong. I've never seen that. Rodney King, high-speed chase, and resisting. It's always something they do. I'm not saying it's right, but there's always something they do. It's never for no reason. Now, does it happen? Maybe, but I've never seen it. Y'all find me the clip of a guy just minding his business, getting beat up for no reason. Okay, you get pulled over. All right, so, okay. registration, license. Why would you get beat up right there? In America, if you're overseas, it's different. You're going to get extorted, stuff like that, robbed, whatever, kidnapped. But I've never seen that in the States where a cop just kills you for no reason. Not saying it's right. Again, not saying it's right. But there is, it's got to be something that happens beforehand. But, I mean, again, I could be wrong. Y'all let me know. Thank you to Papo Naya Shelley, who says, your thoughts on Jake Whitlock's assessment. I thought that was kind of unnecessary, really. He was saying that it's like a single mom type thing. I don't think that's really necessary to say. I think that I don't think that's really something that, I mean, you could say that, but he's getting into a cultural issue that's not necessary to tackle right now. The issue is who did what and why. That's the issue, not the deeper social issue. We can talk about that, but maybe not right now. I'm not going to say that he's totally wrong, but I wouldn't have said that right now. Let's focus on who did what and why. Whose fault was it? I focused on the resisting arrest and the police beating. That's really where you got to focus. Talking about single moms, I don't really understand the purpose. I'm not going to say he's totally wrong, but I don't really get it. Hold on. Let me see if I can find that clip right quick. I'm going to find a clip of it.
This is a story about young black men and their inability to treat each other in a humane way. Everybody involved in this on the street level was either 24 to 32 years old. Everybody. It was a group of young black men, 5-on-1. Looked like gang violence to me. It looked like what young black men do when they're supervised by a single black woman. And that's what they got going on in the Memphis Police Department. They've elected or put some black woman in charge of the police force. And we're getting the same kind of chaos and disunity and violence that we see in a lot of these cities that are run by single mothers. If we want to discuss the breakdown of family that leads to disrespect for authority, that causes you to resist the police and run from the police and not comply with the police because you resist authority at all time, because there was no male authority in your home, let's have that discussion. But that's not where they want to take us. They want to take us down the path of saying, you know what, this is Tucker Carlson's fault. This is some random this is Donald Trump's fault. It's not. It's the breakdown of family and the buying in to all these left-wing things that have nothing to do with promoting family.
Now, like I said, I'm not going to say he's wrong, but I wouldn't have said that right now because we're getting a little bit too deep. But maybe that was a question asked of him. Maybe that was like the whole thing, like, why is this happening? Then maybe I could understand. If you get full context, maybe that was the whole thing. But me, I focus more on who did what and why, or why it happened, not necessarily the deeper social cause of why it happened. That's really kind of what it was. So, yeah. And that's a problem sometimes when you try to say something that's going to be controversial. I'm not saying he did that to be controversial. I'm saying when you say things are going to be that way, controversial, you got to not hit him so hard so quick. Not so quick. You can go there eventually. What I said was just a fact you can't deny. You can't argue with my fact. You can't say that I'm wrong. When I say if you don't resist, then there wouldn't have been the beatdown and both were wrong, you can't deny that. If you deny it, you're just a liar. You can argue the whole thing about single moms and stuff like that. Well, I'm from a single mom household and I turned out fine. You can argue that point. It's not necessarily a great argument, but you can argue it. You cannot argue what I'm saying. Once I get you right there on that track, then we can go a little bit further into it. But again, there could have been a whole conversation where that was said and then he went deeper. I don't really know. But I digress. Exactly came our way. Nobody had a dad. We're assuming that. You see what I'm saying? See, you could easily say, well, that guy right there had both his parents, and so did he. We don't even know who was a single mother household product. We assume that's the case, but we don't know. I don't talk about stuff like that that's cultural and generalization. I talk about what happened specifically. Okay, what are the facts? He resisted. What are the facts? Police went overboard. What is my opinion about that? Anything else, you're talking about conjecture and generalizations and social issues and deeper things that aren't necessarily applicable here. Maybe they are, but maybe they're not. You see, but I digress. I might do a video about that, actually. I might do a video talking about that specifically and breaking that down a little bit more. All right. Thank you to Lamar Lee, who says Rodney King was beat worse than Liv. I wonder why. I don't know. It's a good question. That's a very good question. I ain't gonna go down that road. I know where you're going with it though, but that's a very good question. Thank you to Laura Catherine for your thumbs up emoji. I appreciate you. Thank you to Lou Valentino, who says just took one into the chest from YouTube. Strike number 2 for reported on Veritas. Yeah, you probably played the part where they were at the table talking before the freak out interview. You probably played that one. The same thing that Veritas did. Yeah. Shout out to you for fighting a good fight though, Lou Valentino. Thank you to No White Guilt, who says the 911 operator sounded like she should be taking pizza orders, for God's sake. How did these folks get hired? Oh, yeah, on the basis of things other than competence. Thank you to Alien Spaceship, Sound Effects and Vlog, who says the statue reminds me of Baphomet and Medusa. Correct. You take Baphomet, Medusa, put them together with the Ruth Bader Ginsburg accoutrements, and you have that ugly, ridiculous statue, that gold effect statue that looks like a straight plastic from Beijing, China. But anyway, if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. And let's get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. There's also an email for Skype. And if Skype doesn't work right, you know whose fault it is. It ain't mine. Please blame the white man. It ain't my fault. And if Skype doesn't work, we're going to move on to something else. We know how we do. We keep on rocking and rolling. Yeah, I mean, it's a bad situation overall, but I want to be able to have people learn from that thing. All right, let's go. 563, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Max. How you doing?
It's all good, man. How about yourself?
So, hey, just going to go through a couple of things. I'm getting feedback for some reason.
It's all good. I got you, boss. Go ahead.
Right. So, yeah, no, you were talking about kind of like rioting, especially at the beginning of the show. And I actually lived in Minneapolis during the times of George Floyd, you know, and it was a very hard time, you know.
I mean, like, and then as far as the riots were concerned, when you were going through it, did you ever think that this was helpful, that it was going to be a good thing for the cause, or was it just senseless violence for no reason?
It definitely was. Like, you could hear from the outside that was like tones of people protesting for rights that they truly believed in, you know, but it just, at night, it just started to get violent and violent and more violent.
Right.
You know?
Now, do you think there was a bunch of people that were paid to be there, a lot of outside people from other states, other cities across the country, or was it local people that were there?
Well, you know, there was I don't know for 100% like how to point the finger at anybody or anything, but I do know that there was lots of people in like U-Hauls coming from out of town. You know, they say that like the Target got destroyed because after the cops maced the rioters, they went to Target and said, "Hey, I need milk, you know, to get the mace out my eyes." And they didn't give them the milk, so they burned the Target down, you know?
Yeah. Wow. So,
but if you don't want to talk about this too much longer, I can also talk on another subject if you want.
Oh, go for it,
I have
man.
Experience with.
Yeah, it's all good. Talk about it.
So that Nancy Pelosi thing, you know, with that guy going there, it could honestly, like, when I was red pilled back in 2016, like, and started to realize, you know, that when Woodrow Wilson signed over, you know, it's off the gold standard, and I kind of started to put those kind of things together. But then I started to listen to more, you know, people who knew more about politics than me. It was kind of eye opening, and maybe that's what that kid was going through. Maybe he was a lefty kind of kooky dude, lived out in the woods, What if he just had like this red pill awakening and like was already crazy and went there and tried to attack him? Because he's wearing like New Balances, for crying out loud. I mean, he seems like some sort of weird guy.
Yeah, he definitely seemed like he was, maybe the word is confused, or I don't know. You know, that's really what I think. I don't really know. It could have been something that he could have already known them. He could have just been out there trying to hurt them because of something that he heard. I really don't know.
That's what I think. He might have been taking the law into his own hands or something because he lived close. He seemed really crazy, like out of his mind. And also, like I know a lot of people around Paul Pelosi's age, and maybe he was just kind of like, Paul Pelosi was just tired, old, and drunk, and was just trying to get the hammer out of his hands. But that kid, I've seen people with that type of look in their eyes before, and he's definitely like cuckoo, like out there. He kind of looks like this comedian that's like going around on podcasts. His name is Stavros, but I'm not trying to make fun of him. I just thought that was a funny comparison.
Right.
But yeah, I don't want to hold you up too much longer.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, see you.
All right, shout out to my man for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And the number to call, 434, there it is, 434-658-1220. Do not be afraid to call. It's all good. Let's go to 801 in the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's up, man? This is Mecca.
All right, man. What's going on?
How's it going, ABL?
It's all good, man. Can't complain.
Going. Hey, so I got a few things I wanted to talk about. So, like, the first one was the whole Paul Pelosi thing.
Yeah.
Like, me personally, I don't think some of the things are relevant, like as far as who opened the door, you know what I mean? But
well,
like
hold on, one second. Now, the reason why I think it's relevant from my point of view is because when the reports came out, one of the reports said that there was a third party that came to the door. A report said this. So then when you see the door open and it looks like it could be somebody else opening the door, that you got to ask the question, was there a third party there? A report said there was. You see what I'm saying? So if there was a third party there, then who was that person? Yeah. And it's not even I'm saying that it looks like it was a third party. It was a report that it was a third party. And then when you see it, it could have been. So it's like, can we get the answer to that question? Can we get that report fixed or what? You see what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, I understand. But I think the bigger issue, okay, so you got to remember, this is San Francisco, man. And like they were saying, the statistic of the population there that votes for Nancy or Democrat was like 80 something. So there's a high chance that dispatcher was a Democrat. But it just goes to show that, like, you know, the term NPC, you know what I mean? So this is it, man. This is your perfect prime example. There's an 80% chance that she voted for Democrats. She's a typical NPC. And this is how they think, man. They're kind of like brain dead. She didn't have a clue that he needed help, even though all the signs were there. It was pretty obvious. He's, saying he doesn't know the dude. Where's police, and all that crap. So this is your typical population right there in San Francisco. You got NPCs voting for Democrats. And then when it comes to the point where they really need help from their NPCs, it's like, now look, they turned on you. It's like that movie iRobot. Like in the end, they're just robots. You know what I mean? They're just people that you guys just using for votes. You guys aren't educating your population. So that's kind of like how I look at it. The dude, I mean, he could have been a Trump supporter, but I'm leaning more of he was just a crazy kid there to just beat the crap out of Nancy or you know what I mean? And then the whole drink in his hand. I don't know if you ever watch movies where drunks or like typical like businessmen, when they get confronted by someone, they'll walk straight to their whiskey or whatever, and then they'll pour a drink because it's kind of like a symbol of courage. Like they need to build that courage by drinking something. And it could have went that way. That's my guess. He's an old dude. He didn't have PS5 for the fat kid to be like, hey, play some PS5 while you're waiting for Nancy. So he went to his typical drunkard thing, because that's what he is. He's a drunk. I mean, he got a DUI last year, and went to a drink, try to stay calm, try to stay collected, call police. That still didn't work out because, you got your NPCs that are brain dead. And, he got what he deserved. I mean, that's kind of harsh, but this is what happens, man. This is how you turn your city into a city that turns on you when you really need help. And then the whole thing with, the black guy that got beat up by the 5 black cops, rest in peace. I used to be a cop. That you hit the nail on the head. Basically comply. That's what it comes down to. You can always go to court, fight it. If you felt like you've been wrongfully arrested or ticketed, you can always try to fight it in court. But I think when Jason Whitlock was talking about that whole systemic thing, I think he was trying to combat what the leftists were trying to say, because they try to take it into a systemic racism point of view, but he was trying to take it deeper into another point of view where single mother homes, and that's kind of how it is in the projects. You know what I mean? I grew up in the projects as well, and that's how it is, man. The difference between cops and some of these criminals is that cops didn't get caught, doing their crime when they were growing up, and so it was just like it just looked like a gang initiation at that point. But I really wish he would have just complied. I'm a person of color as well, and a lot of times when I get pulled over in white city or white small town, like that's the first thing that comes to my head. Like, I better comply. Just put my hands on the steering wheel. Do everything the cop says, and for the most part, he'll just give me a warning, just let me go. But yeah, I really wish he would have complied. Everything probably would have just been a lot smoother, I guess. And then oh shoot, I forgot what you were talking about, the other story. But that was it, man. That's my whole thoughts about what's going on. I appreciate what you're doing for the community. I used to be a Democrat, but now I converted over to Republican. Well, more just conservative, but mainly just trying to use common sense. Whenever I look at politics or look at anything that has to do with world affairs and stuff like that. So you Tatum, you guys all doing a good job, kind of helping us understand, the truth more or less.
Thank you for your call, man. Definitely appreciate
you. Yeah, bro.
You.
Take care.
I know. Shout out to the caller. Great call. And thank you for being here yet again. Definitely appreciate you guys. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. And let's go to 630. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Robert. How you doing, brother?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Oh, man. So, yeah, I just had taken my headset there. And so I just want to call in and just, comment on the whole Tyre Nichols thing. They beat that man to death, dude. I was horrified by watching the videos. All of us were. And I agree with you on the whole, if you just comply, if you don't resist, your police experience and or arrest will go much better than being beaten to death. But the thing is, though, I watched that first video. Did you watch the first video, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't see him resisting. I didn't give him a chance to resist. They just came up on him hard and ripped him right out of that car and threw him down on the ground and said, one cop was saying, lay down on your stomach while the other cop was holding him up. And he just said, I can't. This other cop's holding me up. I mean, no, they just came out of him hard immediately. I don't know what they thought the dude did or what he was doing. You know what I mean? But
well, I think. Hold on. I think by that point he was already doing some evasive maneuvers in the vehicle. That's what they were saying at the end of the video where they were beating him. He was already doing some evasive. He was already doing some stuff before that video started rolling. So they didn't just see him on the street and run up on him for no reason, check him out the car. Now, again, I'm not trying to say that it was right. I'm not trying to say that it was right. I'm just saying that there was more before that video played.
All right, I see what you're saying. But either way, again, what these cops did is, they missed they were too busy beating the dude to realize he actually had his hands up where they could have captured it. and put it behind his back. I mean, they took any judo or jiu-jitsu class. They would have been able to immediately see where they could have captured both arms. And there was one point where the dude was too busy beating him with the metal whip to realize that they were holding him up and he had his arm out. And I'm like, dude, capture the arm. You're telling him to put up his hands and he can hardly stand. Capture that arm. You know what I mean? Anyway, the one idiot cop kept pepper spraying everyone, including himself. I'm like, you're an idiot. You're stupid. But anyway, like I said, I agree with you. Seriously, like the other caller said, he's a black guy, and when he goes into a white neighborhood and gets pulled over by cops, I'm going to tell you, I'm a white dude, and when I go to black neighborhoods here in Chirac and I get pulled over by cops, I definitely keep both hands on the wheel, you know, especially now if you're watching that, because they was vicious. No, I'm joking. I shouldn't joke. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, it doesn't, I don't think it has so much to do with color. I just think it has to do with attitude and the training level of the cops. And those cops, no, I'm sorry, those cops are stupid. They should not have been on the force. And, well, that's all I'm saying that. Oh, one more thing on Nancy Pelosi. Can I continue? Are you bored with me?
Now, go ahead, man. Go for it.
Okay. So on Nancy Pelosi, I so wanted this to be a gay lover thing, okay? But I'm not thinking it is anymore. But it does definitely, speaking about bad cops, now we got the other spectrum. You listen to that call, that 911 call, and he's like, yeah, this guy's in my house. He's got a hammer. Blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't think he mentioned the hammer, but this guy's in my house. I don't know him. Well, what's his name? My name is David. And he's like, he says his name is David. And they said, yeah, well, we're friends. In other words, he's saying we're friendly, right? And the cop's like, okay, well, call us back if you need anything. He's like, no. He's saying, no. Pelosi actually says, no. He's saying we're okay. And he's like, I'm in a real situation here. You know what I mean? And the cop's like, yeah, well, what's going on? He's like, yeah, he's here to see my wife, Nancy Pelosi, but she's not going to be here for a while, so he's going to be waiting for a couple of days. Oh, okay. Is this Capitol Police? No, unfortunately, this is San Francisco Police. Okay. Well, again, my wife, Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House.
Yeah, she was not. She
in my house.
Yeah, the person that was on the other end of the phone had no idea who that was. I could tell, like, right away, because when she said Paul Pelosi, that should have been the first cue. Then Nancy Pelosi, Capitol Police, it wasn't clicking.
Right, but thankfully she did put it together. But then when the cops showed up, they're talking about, I don't want people here or something. I don't know what he's talking about there. But he rings the doorbell, and then he turns his back. You notice that? He turns his back like he's just ringing the regular doorbell, like, yeah, okay, I'm going to turn my back, look around. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, the doorbell was just sitting a hammer. They should have immediately rushed. You know what I mean?
Right.
They just said, hey, what's going on? Put down the hammer, you know? Either way, so that's the other end of the spectrum where they were stupid. I will say this, in both ends of the spectrum, I will say this. This is probably the result of defund the police. No training, low morale, total stupidity.
Right.
I mean, guys, the guys in Tennessee, I think the pepper spray guy, he pepper sprayed himself. Did you see that? He was like, oh my God, I pepper sprayed myself.
You're right on. You're right on point, man. But I got a few more calls on the line I'm gonna get to. Thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate
All right,
you.
brother.
All right, now.
All right, thanks, brother. Have a good one.
Same to you. All right, shout out to the caller. And let's go to 614. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Okay.
All righty. What's happening?
Can you hear me?
I hear you well.
Hey, this is Dan in Ohio. Love your show.
Thank you.
You know, as far as the Paul Pelosi, I think that, you know, pretty much everything's been covered. The only thing I spent 22 years working for the U.S. government, military, federal agent, defense contractor. And my thing is, at my age, watching, you know, when politicians get caught, it just doesn't surprise me, you know, when things like this happen. It's only a matter of time that they become the architects of their own demise, and some kind of debacle like this happens, you know. And so, you know, they made their own bed and they have to lay in it, you know. But as far as the shooting in Memphis, which is sad, you know, I spent 10 years in L.A. I'm sorry, the beating. I'm sorry, not the shooting, the beating. but the incident that happened in Memphis, I spent 10 years in LA before I moved to Ohio, and when I was in the reserves, there was a lot of LAPD, and they would share their stories with us, and it's like, you know, there's always two sides to every story, and the truth is somewhere in the middle. But unfortunately, and I think you're right, you know, it's too soon to make those comments you're referring to before, you know. But, you know, the question in my mind is, you know, is the fault on one side or the other, or both? You know, did the officers, you know, exceed their authority? And the other question is, why did the suspect resist, and why did he run? You know, because that's the one thing that cops just they really don't like is, you know, is when something like that happens.
Yeah, that's the key question. And, you know, it's possible to critique the officers and what they did, but also the suspect, the person that got beaten or whatever, is like, okay, what did you do in the situation? Like, let's look at the whole thing and talk about everyone involved. I think that's very important.
It is, yeah, because it's got to be 360 degrees, you know. And it said, you know, if the officers exceeded their authority, it's disappointing that they did, you know. And with any situation, when these incidents happen, they get put out in the mainstream news almost immediately, and then people don't get the entire backstory, okay, till later on, after, you know, because it becomes an ongoing investigation. And the other issue is here in Ohio, there's an increase in crime in Columbus, and unfortunately, and I'm not trying to point fingers, but, you know, a lot of these kids that are running the streets, committing crimes, whatever age they are, you know, the parents are just not parenting, you know, and the ones that are underage minors, the police are telling me that the judges are just giving them a slap on the wrist and cut them loose, and they just go out and become repeat offenders. So that's pretty much all I had to say, you know.
Hey now.
Yeah, it's my wife. But love your show, and I definitely appreciate your feedback.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you. And hello, wife. Thank you for being a very good supporter. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Thank you much.
All right now. All right, shout out to y'all. Great call. Always love the calls where you got more people on the call and they're in the background cheering me on. I like that. So thank y'all for calling in. You guys are the best. Let's get to some more here. The phone lines are blowing up, so y'all got to please hang in there. 504, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. It's Alien Spaceship.
All right, man. What's going on?
All right. So I think it's very good that finally the truth about the vaccines are being revealed.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Because, you know, they always called us conspiracy theorists and thought we were crazy, but now they see that we are right. You know, and that's good. That's finally coming to light. And also, I was watching some streams last night about the protests. So, over the guy that got killed, Tyre, I think I said his name right. And basically, so in Memphis, you know, they had these people and they were chanting things like, you know, they kill us, we take their money, and they keep making it about white people. That's what I noticed about it. And also, they're protesting in LA, in New York City. In New York City, they were jumping on cars and stuff. And the LA people were saying, like, F the police and white police, but the people that did this were black police.
Of course, you know, because it's always one narrative, and the narrative is going to be the narrative regardless of what the actual story is. They don't really care too much about the truth. It's always about white man this,
Right.
white man that. It could be nobody white involved, and they still want to blame the white man. That's why I joke about it. Every single time I start this show, I joke about blame the white man, because that's
Right.
how much of a joke it is. But people really take that seriously, and they act on it. And a lot of times, they're being paid to do so, or they're being, quote unquote, encouraged to do so. So it doesn't matter what they say because they're not actually out there for that purpose anyway. They're out there for a political purpose, a financial goal, something else other than what they say.
Exactly, because it all has to do with money and their cultural Marxist agenda, and they're using it as a weapon to stabilize the country. And also the Antifa soy boys, they're these white people, they were moving the gates and the rails and knocking over garbage cans, and it's like, wow, you're such a tough rebel, you know. And yeah, and I'm in New Orleans, and my area is okay, but I'm surrounded by other areas that kind of are sketchy. And you know, it's correct. It is getting quite bad, and it especially has increased since Biden got in.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy.
Right. And also I want to mention about last time, that football player with the heart attack.
Yeah.
Remember that last time? Yeah. So, yeah, I was talking to Georgia Peach about it, and, you know, we think that it could have to do with publicity for the Super Bowl, maybe, and it's highly unlikely that the guy would have recovered so quickly.
Yeah, I mean, now they did show a video. Like I see a video right now. It just happened to come up on my timeline on my Twitter, like from a few minutes ago, and it's him talking. So I think that he is better, but what you're saying could be right. That at that moment when he was out there, he may not have been better. He could be better now, but at that moment when he came, I think that he probably wasn't better at that moment. I think he still was going through some things, and he's doing better now. So I think you're right about that.
Right. And also, last thing that I will mention is the creepy statue that I sent you a super chat about, the Medusa-looking thing. Yeah, because I'm a Christian, but I researched the other occults and things. And so basically, yeah, it's like Baphomet, and also this other creature called Moloch. It's another demon. It's the red demon with horns. It's like that. And it could embody Lilith. That's some other thing from the ancient it's from the Bible, but it wasn't put in the Bible. It's like kind of like a Gnostic idea and things like that. So I think it definitely is very satanic, is what I'm trying to say.
I believe you're right. I mean, it makes sense to me, and it's not very surprising considering how much they've put that kind of stuff out there to the public. I'm not surprised at all.
Right. And also, I do alien stuff on my YouTube channel, and I've always talked about it. And those, I believe, are the fallen angels and the sons of God that are masquerading as aliens. And that also has to do with the false gods from other religions, too. So it's all, like, interconnected with that. Right.
Makes sense.
Right. That's all I have to say, ABL, and thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate you.
Goodbye.
All right. Great call. Now, you guys want to see the Damar Hamlin video? Let me put it up right quick, then I get right back to the calls. So y'all give me just a second. I'm going to play the entire clip. It's like 6 minutes, of course. I'll just play a little bit, a few seconds, so I can see kind of what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and roll the clip. Do we have sound or not? There we go. So this is him. So that's him.
Now that my brothers have closed out a strong winning season, as I continue to make so much progress recovering, I think it's finally a good time to share a few things. I think it was important for me to wait and speak publicly at the right time, as it was just a lot to process within my own self, mentally, physically, even spiritually. It's just been a lot to process, but I can't tell you how appreciative I am of all the love, all the support, and everything that's just been coming in my way. What happened to me on Monday Night Football, I feel is a direct example of God using me as a vessel.
You know what? You guys are very smart, because I thought the same thing you guys are thinking right there. AI generated. I thought that. I'm not saying it is, but I thought that right away. Right when I saw him, I was like, that looks kind of fishy. But I think this is him. I think it is him. Just for the record. Oh, you thought it was AI. I think that it is him. But I did think in my mind AI.
To share my passion and my love directly from my heart with the entire world. And now I'm able to give it back to kids and communities all across the world who need it the most. And that's always been my dream. That's always been what I stood for and what I'll continue to stand for.
So that's him. This video is on Buffalo Bills official Twitter page. If you want to see it for yourself, it's about 5 minutes 48 seconds long, almost 6 minutes long. Y'all check it out for yourself. But I wanted to show you that just came out 3 hours ago. So this came out what time? Let me see the exact time it came out. At 6:52. So right around the time I started doing the show, right when I scheduled the show, right around 7 o'clock, it came out. So this is hot off the presses. All right. So y'all, hey, that's going to be something. I might do a video. I might put this up. I don't know. I might do something with this. Yeah, I may put this up on my channel as a separate video so you guys can check it out there. All righty. Let's keep on going here. Number to call, 434-658-1220. Let's go 704. Uh-oh. I might have been a little bit too slow to the trigger on that one. Okay. Let's go 372. You on the line? Who am I speaking to?
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
All
It's
right.
Anthony, how you doing? Yeah, it's Paul from China, man. How you doing? It's been a minute.
It's all good, man. What's going on?
Yeah, real quick, I want you to do me a favor, and I want you to tap into your inner psychologist, okay? And give me some analysis, psychological analysis of the logic of resisting arrest for no reason. A quick preamble, okay? I'm a huge fan of Cops, the TV show, the reality TV show Cops. Been watching Cops since high school. Love Cops. And when guys try to run and, resist arrest, it's always because they're dirty. They got drugs, they have warrants, or both. They got drugs and warrants. And, with some of the videos that you post and other people post, like the situation with Tyre and the video with the guy that was, I believe, the nephew of the Black Lives Matter founder. And, they're resisting arrest for no reason. My understanding of the Tyre Nichols situation is that he did not have any warrants and he didn't have any dope. So, tap into that inner psychologist and help me understand, what is the logic of resisting arrest for no reason?
I'm really kind of drawing the blank, to be totally honest with you, because what you're talking about as far as guys being dirty, not wanting to go to jail, they might have warrants, anything like that. Like they know if they get caught here, it's going to be a problem. That makes sense, although I don't say it's a good thing to do. I will understand why somebody would do something like that because they don't want to go to jail again. They're trying to escape that punishment. But if you have no warrants, you're not dirty, you're just a regular guy, there's no reason to resist arrest. There's no reason to try to run away. It doesn't make any sense. So I don't know exactly what was going on. Now, they said he was very strong and being able to fight these guys off. He was only about 6'3", 145 pounds, not a very big guy at all, skinny guy. And the guys that were on him were much bigger than that. So there could have been drugs in the system, although he may not have had drugs on him. That's the only thing I could say that might make sense. Aside from that, there is no logic there at all.
No logic. I don't understand. And both these situations with Tyre and the guy from the Black Lives Matter's relative, both ending in deaths. I don't understand. Like I said, for no reason. But I guess that's neither here nor there. One more thing, real quick, and I'll let you go. Shout out to Project Veritas. This latest video was really outstanding. What do you think? Just real quick, what do you think? People, okay, so people are obviously spewing a lot of vitriol at Pfizer for having meetings where they're planning to do this crazy stuff with the virus. But beyond this one situation, I do think that Pfizer overall has done a lot of good for the medical profession. A lot of their drugs and medications have helped people with a variety of different illnesses. So, are people calling for Pfizer to pay a $50 million fine? Are people calling for Pfizer to close its doors? I mean, this is one bad situation, but I think the full, the full scope of Pfizer, you'll find much more good than bad. So what do you think people want to see come from this?
I think people want different things. I think some may want to see Pfizer closed down permanently. And I think if you ask people that know a little bit more about big pharma, about drugs and how they help, I think what we probably want more is transparency. So where you're not just saying things that we want to hear and you're telling the truth. So example would be gain of function research. Let's not try to say that people are crazy when they are talking about Wuhan, China being the source of the virus. When Pfizer probably knows what's going on and they're doing the exact same thing and they're taking measures to make sure there's no leak and everything is safe. You see, we got to just be honest, because when people are dishonest, a lot of lies get spread, rumors get spread, misinformation, confusion happens, and then people are angry and they want you to shut down. But see, if you were honest and told what was really going on and ensured the public of safety, then there'd be a lot less anxiety and a lot less confusion, misdirection, and misinformation going on. But the honesty, that might hurt their pockets at the end of the day, so they may not want to do that all the way.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I had, man. I'll let you go. Just I heard, saw somewhere about a potential investigation in the Pfizer over this, and I do support that. But at the same time, though, I don't want to see Pfizer close its doors, because I think they do much more good than bad. But that's all I got, man. Be good.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate you. Great call. That's a good call. I understand what you're saying about Pfizer. Pfizer has a really bad reputation over the past few years, and I think rightfully so. A lot of big pharma have bad reputations. But again, a lot of these problems, a lot of ill will towards big pharma could be solved with honesty, transparency. Somebody said it, informed consent, all that. And then also, let's not have them be in bed with the federal government forcing you to take vaccinations that you don't want to take. You see what I mean? So that has to kind of be broken. If you have that going on, then it's going to be a problem that's not going to get changed anytime soon. And there's still going to be a lot of resentment and hatred and vitriol toward Pfizer. For sure. 612, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, how's it going?
It's all good, man. What's going on?
Man, dude, it's been a crazy couple of years. I worked on the block where George Floyd, all that happened, man. Oof, man. It was like a nightmare. Like, you hear it on the radio, you're driving, then you hear it again, and you hear it again, and then you're driving over there, and you're like, what is happening? Like, at the end of the day, there was all these people came out of nowhere with signs, protester signs, like, just flooded the whole area. And you hear about it later, like, lady with a rental truck shows up, and she's got all this protester gear, and you're like, what's going on exactly? Like, it seemed planned, It's like you look at Keith Ellison and his son, a member of Antifa, pictures of him online holding an Antifa handbook. It's like that old song, like things that make you go,
Right, of course. Yeah, I think a lot of this stuff is planned. A lot of this stuff, there's a lot of financial benefits from it, of course, and then the political benefits.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah. I mean, they said they raised, well, when I say they, I mean BLM and BLM type organizations raised $10 billion after George Floyd died. $10 billion. So the money aspect of it can't be ignored. That's an obvious thing that's going on.
How much of that ended up in real estate, You got like over 200 properties that got burned in one night. You're like, ask yourself, like, where did they get all the fuel for all of that? Like, how did they organize that? Like, that seems like some kind of like, deep state level stuff. And we're just like, you don't want to believe it, but then you see the results. And like, that whole area, man, like, it's all rebuilt. You got like burned down buildings where Target used to be, but now it's like brand spanking new. They got a nice new mural. It's like, you got like the headquarters of a lot of organizations, like a lot of international organizations in Minneapolis. Like Target is headquarters in Minneapolis.
Oh, wow.
So you have to ask yourself, like, FBI headquartered in that area too. You're like, Anyway, Thanks, ABL. Have a good night. Love your show.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate you. Hey, that's a very good point he's making there. It's like, well, what's really going on? Was that done for a reason? Very, very good point. 704 online. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, I'm calling from Texas, but let me tell you something. I gotta keep my mind on this one.
Hold on.
I want you to live.
Yeah, we're live, but am I on speak? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Are-
So,
are-
tell you, it be kind of crazy when I watch all these woke people say all this crazy stuff and all this, you know, like people changing their pronouns and all that. And my brother is right now looking at me. All right, let me get back to the call.
Okay, hold on. We got noise in the background. Can you turn it off for me, please?
I'll go to a place where I can phone. So, point I'm gonna say is, you know how woke people be making all these bad shows?
Wait. Okay. One more thing. Let's not have speaker on. Let's get off of the speaker.
Okay. You ever watch these woke shows and stuff like Velma and stuff? You ever see how crazy and goofy these shows be, you know, having characters be racist as crap and then be like, oh, we're not racist and stuff. You know, like the whole stuff. Like, you can't even be Christian or just have a religion in general without being hated on. Really?
Yeah, I have
Stuff
seen
like that.
for sure.
Yeah, it beats way too much. It happens way too often. Down here in Texas, I mean, it's not much different than where I go to school at. But, like, people be changing their pronouns and stuff. Like, I watched one of your videos a long time ago, but, it was something about people changing their pronouns, and it was over in Ukraine, so they couldn't leave and stuff. I actually was kind of confused. I still don't know if I count transgender people as well. A different gender. I always will call them what their original gender was. So I always get called transphobic. But I mean, like, you see how stuff like Star Wars is getting ruined over time by stuff like Kenobi, trying to make him bisexual for no reason. You know, stuff like that. It all pisses me off and stuff. And for the murder that just happened, I'm so confused. So what? Was he resisting arrest or what happened? I don't understand why they murdered him.
What you talking about? Tyre Nichols?
Yes, I very.
Yeah, that's a whole story right there. That's a whole different kind of story. It's a longer explanation, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still confused why they murdered him. I mean, was he resisting arrest? Oh shit!
You can't cuss on the stream.
Sorry.
You know, actually, I got a lot more calls on the line I'm gonna get to. Thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you. Appreciate you. All right. Shout out to the caller. All right. Let's go ahead and the number to call 434-658-1220. 30. I was a little bit too slow to the trigger on that one. All righty, Les, what's going on?
Hey, ABL, how are you doing?
Everything's right. How about yourself?
Good. Hold on. Give me a second. Let me just let everybody know to just settle down a bit. 1 second. Sorry.
All righty.
Alrighty. Sorry about that. Yeah. So how are you doing tonight?
Oh, it's all good. Everything's great. Can't complain.
Good. We haven't had not one drunk caller. Ivan hasn't called in yet. I don't know. We need some highlight of the night tonight besides your great reporting.
Right on.
So I wanted to make a comment on some few things here. Let's start off with the whole Pelosi video. Makes no sense whatsoever. If anything, it raises more questions. There's more discrepancies in the story now. Think about it, ABL. If we were ever in a situation, maybe a man would respond a little bit different than a woman. But personally, me, if I was in that situation, someone was invading my home. First of all, your wife was once upon a time Speaker of the House. Where's security? Where's the security system? Where are cameras? Things of that nature. But if I was a woman in that situation, I would obviously, I don't know, go barricade myself in a bedroom while I'm, talking to 911. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I wouldn't be as calm as Paul Pelosi was.
Oh yeah, not at all. I mean, that was completely strange. The way he was behaving, and then the drink in his hand, like that whole thing was just strange. Is that not even the word to describe that?
It's super strange. It makes no sense. And you raised a very, very great comment in regards to that video, is the fact that when the door opens, it doesn't just slam out open. It's like someone's back there opening it. So like I said, there's just so much discrepancies. If you honestly, if I have to give my 2 cents on this, it has to be staged. It's fake. Again, when have we not seen this time and time again, the left using a certain narrative or pushing a certain story out in the media to hide their tracks on what they are currently doing?
Right. That's a very good point you made there.
Right. So that's just my own personal opinion. Can it be real? Yes. And if it's real, I mean, honestly, what did the Pelosi's do to this gentleman? Why did this gentleman, specifically target the Pelosi's? You get me? Like, I don't know. It's weird. And hopefully, we'll get to the bottom of the story. But so far, in my opinion, fake, staged. I don't care what anybody says anymore. It's weird. Second thing that you had put up was that, what was that sculpture thing, that statue thing that looked so satanic?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So let us go back and say, because they said they're paying homage to abortion as well as RBG, I believe.
Yeah, RGB, yeah.
There you go, RGB, which I believe was one of the Supreme Justices that passed away, right?
Yeah, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, RBG, yeah.
Right, okay. So now, what threw me off here, okay? And this is why we have to go out and do our own research on what the root word of a lot of these words mean. So if they're paying homage to abortion, let's not forget the individual that went ahead and started this whole thing of abortion, who was Margaret Sanger. Anyone who doesn't know the history should really start looking into the history on why she wanted this whole push on Planned Parenthood and a control of the woman's body to not reproduce, and now that we see is abortion, right? So this is what catches me off guard, ABL. Abortion snuffs life before it's even brought into this world. How the heck, and I want to say some other words, but I can't. The little ones are watching.
Right.
How the heck are you gonna go and name this statue Hava when the origin is Hebrew and it means living and breathing? You tell me that, ABL, because I can't make it make sense right now.
Yeah, I'm lost on that one too. And I saw that name. I was kind of confused at it as well. I was like, what is? And so I'm even more confused now that I know what it means.
Right, it's insane, but that's what I'm saying. Like, people really need to start doing their own research. This stuff doesn't make sense. I mean, the majority of the people here on your platform get it. We all get it, but for the ones that don't, it's kind of like, yeah, you really need to get on some Google by now,
Absolutely.
That, and I wanted to go ahead and just comment real quick on this whole riots happening. Again, we already knew there was going to be a point in time where the left was going to activate Antifa and BLM, right? It's a little too sudden, too soon, but it doesn't surprise me, nothing whatsoever. And it's very sad, but again, we go back to the basics. If you get pulled over by a police officer, I've had this encounter, many of us have had this encounter previously. What do we do? It's the first thing we do. You comply. Whatever the police officer is asking of you, you just respond accordingly, with respect, and that's about it. I mean, it's obvious, like, people that have something to hide and whatnot, they act very radical and they do what they got to do. But I don't know, ABL, you tell me, why is it that from the experience of George Floyd, we're starting to see this back to back to back now? And it's been, close to 2 years that we haven't seen any riots?
Well, we got to get ready for 2024.
Right, we got to get ready. That's what I'm saying. Isn't it funny how Antifa and BLM have been activated. 2024 is around the corner.
I mean, anybody could have seen it coming. Here we are.
Right. And then here we go again. BLM is going to try to be out here unless they're already out there. Patrice Cullors or whoever is the one who now took over BLM. Because I haven't really been up to date with that. But here again, you're going to see the faces of the individuals that run BLM asking for some type of donations when it's like, well, what has BLM with all these millions of dollars that they have pretty much collected from all these previous deaths of these Black men? What is BLM going to do now? Because up to the day, we have not seen no type of scholarships given by BLM. Where are they in the Black community? You know, if anything, Patrice Cullors is out here buying houses where she herself says the white race is a danger, but she's moving into these neighborhoods. It doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
Jesus, I don't know. That's all I wanted to say. Oh, and Pfizer, I believe with you. I mean, I back you up, baby, on what you say. We just want more transparency in regards to this whole pharmaceutical companies. Like I said, and I stand strong on it. Big Pharma is the biggest cartel here in the U.S. We just want more transparency, and we don't want government dictating what we should and should not do with our bodies. That's it. But other than that, I'm going to close off on that. You have a wonderful night, ABL. It was a wonderful show again. And God bless you and God bless the chat. Take care. Good night.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate you.
Bye, Via.
All right. Great call. Thank you for being here yet again. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. The phone lines are blowing up, so y'all please bear with me. I'm going to try to get to y'all as soon as I can. 773 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, thank you for getting to my call this week. It's your retired Chicago police officer friend. Hopefully, ABL, I can put a little perspective into this matter with the police. And most of the people that are regulars in chat know who I am, but if I can just reiterate that I've only been retired for less than 1 year, but I was a Chicago police officer for nearly a quarter of a century. And not 1 minute was spent behind a desk. I did all that time on the streets. So that said, ABL, you cannot speak about the experience in your job enough. You can hear over the 911 tape the inexperience of that particular dispatcher not catching on quick enough. Also, I see the inexperience with that stop with Tyre Nichols. Here's the thing. In certain communities that have a large police presence, i.e. a bad neighborhood, people are afraid of the police, some of them. Many are criminals, and many are just regular normies that are afraid of the police. And the mistake that young policemen do, and that I always tried to teach them, and it served me well, is I take 2 or 3 sentences to let the person I'm dealing with know what I'm going to do. Because here's the thing. They're fearful. As the police, you can't be fearful. When you are fearful as a human being, you make mistakes because the fear takes you over. That's why when people ask, were you ever afraid as a policeman? I have never been afraid. I have been, I'm trying to be careful. I'm concentrated on what I'm doing. But if I let fear come into my head while I'm trying to do my police job, I don't make good decisions, and neither do normies. So when this kid is stopped by the police, he's fearful. He doesn't know what to do. And there's a video, and you might remember this one, in Chicago of a black guy that was the barber. He had a gun on him. And the police, the one copper was talking to this guy. And when the police came up on him, the rest of the police on the body cam, once the officer a female officer grabbed his wrist, he's fearful, this guy. He doesn't know what to do. So he runs away. And while he's running, he grabs at the gun and grabs at the holster and at the gun, and we shot and killed him. because it escalated into that. Here's what I've done in the past. If you give me a second here, ABL, here is what I've done in the past and served me well. I let people know, listen, let me cuff you for my safety so I don't get hurt, and for your safety so I don't have to hurt you. The cuffs go on and they come off. I'm going to cuff you now. And most of the time, just with those two sentences, they put their hands behind their back peacefully. If you think that I'm arresting you, but you're not under arrest, you're detained, but if you think that I'm doing this illegally, sue me. But let's not make this into something it's not. So I'm going to cuff you up. And usually they comply, ABL. That takes experience. That kind of stuff takes experience. But what happened in that incident that everybody saw on the Tyre Nichols? They stopped him. They were aggressive trying to get him out of the car. Now, maybe he didn't pull over fast enough. He didn't know how to act right. But once you got him out of the car, I noticed he was on the ground, but he wouldn't go on his stomach. In my experience, sometimes they stay sideways because they're right-handed, and on their right side, they may have a gun. Or when you got dope, you usually put the dope with your dominant hand, and with his right hand, he may have put the dope in his right pocket. I'm not saying he's guilty. He may be completely innocent. But when somebody doesn't comply like that, and you're all struggling and fighting, see, that never happens. It happens rarely in incidences that I was in because I gave that little speech. I was able to outwit them in order to cuff them up. Now the kid runs. Now you're on the radio, and other officers catch him, and he's scared and he's fighting. And next thing you know, he's getting his behind beat by the police, which is totally wrong. That is why you have to have certain standards. The standards for hiring the police drop, and so do the decisions that those new policemen or young policemen make. They make the wrong decisions. What are you doing? This is from a traffic stop. This is, cuff them up. It was the same in the Rodney King tape also, ABL, which everybody knows. Those officers were trying to get him down, and this is what they taught in the academy, and you hit him until he lays down. At some point, let's just go in there and cuff him. Yeah. It's as simple as that. The whole idea is to cuff him up. So I was able to cuff him before we ever got into the struggle. And the same with that dispatcher. You could see her inexperience there. I'd like to say just a couple other things, ABL, and thanks for giving me this time, because I think I have a good point. The other weeks I couldn't get through. Your phone lines are always popping. But here's the thing with that Pelosi thing. The information that you get through video, through testimony, or people's stories, that's what the police gather that information. Okay? So now you and I, because the tape came out, have more information. He's hacking at the window with the hammer, so it explains why the glass is also on the outside. Okay? Now the thing that they said was wrong was that Pelosi came to the door himself and then went back in where the guy was. Obviously, Pelosi was holding on to the hammer. If I answered that door, I wouldn't have walked in either, but I would have had my weapon out, telling him to drop his weapon, because that is a deadly weapon. It only takes one swing, and he did connect with his swing. It only takes one swing of a hammer to kill somebody. So that's why the police have the right to take his life, because he has a deadly weapon in his hand. And, maybe I like to talk him out of that, but that's the way things go. So I'm the thing about how many questions, more questions raised, it answered a lot of questions for me about what took place that you see on the tape there. And then it raises more questions of, who else is in the house, why, and all that. It may be something totally innocent as far as that offender goes with Pelosi. The guy's mad. He knows where the house is. He goes and breaks in the house. Personally, when somebody's banging on your house like that, you should run out the other door. You and your house guest, whoever it is, run out the other door and call the police away from your house, or have a neighbor call the police. So that's my, was way more than 2 cents today, ABL. I think I handed you a $100 bill. But thanks for listening to me. Thanks to everybody in chat. And I'll talk to you another time.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate you.
Thanks, ABL.
Great call. Very good perspective from a former police officer out there in Chicago, Illinois. Very, very good call. 414 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
That's my, was way more than 2 cents.
414, hello.
ABL, hold on. Let me take you off speaker.
All righty.
Okay, hold on. Man, I can't believe I got through.
Yes, sir. You're
Long
live.
time listener, man. Long time listener. And I'm gonna just tell you, man, you've inspired me with conservative. Let me start by this. So I'm a cop. I'm African American in Wisconsin. I'm not gonna tell you the city, but it starts with an M. one of the most grimiest cities in Wisconsin. I want to first by saying this: I don't condone what the police officers did, but I understand. So that in a city, Memphis, one of the most dangerous cities in America, besides where I work in Chicago. Now, they're a high-speed unit, and they're out to deal with riffraff on a day-to-day basis. And what they encounter every day is just beyond words.
The worst of the worst, right?
These guys, worst of the worst. These guys went out to do a job, and I think it was like 40 guys on that unit. We have a unit kind of the same. First of all, this guy that they stopped should have complied. I don't know why these young kids, they do not comply. The first thing on their mind is resistance. Just like when I go out every day, the first thing on their mind is resistance. First of all, there's no respect for the police. Automatically, they're entitled. Since the BLM riots, these kids have been entitled to resist, disrespect police, disrespect authority. And these guys went out and they tried to stop this kid. He got loose and he ran. Now, old school policing, when they caught this guy, when they found him, they tuned him up. They shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have done that. We're in a new age of policing where you got body cams, you got cameras on poles. They shouldn't have did that. The first thing they should have did was go hands-on. I don't know why these young cops do not go hands-on. The first thing they look for is the tools in their belt, a taser, a baton. Go hands-on, cuff this guy. There's 5 of them. There's 5 of them. Cuff this guy, get the job done. Take this guy to jail and go home. Job done. But they kind of, I don't want to say the word, they upset these 5 cops and they tuned him up and they shouldn't have done that. I don't condone that, but I understand. I understand. Because what they deal with every day, these guys resisting arrest, guys bigger than them, tougher than them. They don't know if these guys got guns, on drugs, or whatever. And it just got out of control. And one of the cops should have kind of stepped in and said, hey, let's stop this. Let's just cuff this guy and get the job done. Like I said, I don't condone it, but I understand. I just want to give a big shout out to you, ABL, man. You're doing a good job. Keep doing your thing. Like I said, I'm a conservative cop. There's few of us in this volatile world, and you're an inspiration. Keep doing your thing, man.
Thank you for your call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. See you, man.
That's a great call. Like I understood exactly what was going on in the whole situation with Memphis. I understood it. Like I'm the same way. Sam, I don't condone what happened, but I understand why it happens. You see what I mean? You can understand the thing without having to condone it, without having to agree with it and say that it was a good thing to do. But you understand why certain things happen, why a certain thing transpires. Okay, let's go to 304 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Barb.
All righty.
I was actually calling in about the police. First of all, I just want to say my thoughts and prayers to Tyre's family. I tried to watch the videos. I couldn't watch them all. They were overwhelming because I'm also a mom. Based on what I've seen, it looked to me like at first he tried to comply, and then they just kept screaming and threatening, and it's like he was scared. At one point, I heard him say, I'm down, or something like that. And then I guess when they got ready to tase him is when I think he, his psychological aspect kicked in, and he took off running because it was fight or flight, And unfortunately, over the last decade or so, these young guys have just been taught to fear the police. So
yeah,
I think that factored in a lot to it. And also I'm trying to do a little bit of research about it. And now this is just alleged. I don't know if any of this is true. There was someone on Reddit that commented that he was possibly dating an ex or something of one of the police officers.
Ah.
So I don't know if this could be the reason why it was so harsh from the beginning, and maybe he was even, targeted. I don't know.
That's definitely possible.
Because also seen where the police captain stated that she had pulled multiple cameras and stuff, and there's no evidence of reckless driving.
Yeah, I heard that as well, that there was no probable cause or there was no evidence of that. So, yeah, I did hear that part too.
Yeah. And I just want to offer up my prayers, condolences to his mom. God bless her, his whole family. I mean, and, with everything she's going through, we all have to be respectful and realize, that's someone's son, and it could happen to anybody.
That's correct.
And I do respect the police officers too, and I feel like that we need to be more respectful towards them, because without them we wouldn't have no safety, And I feel like the system needs some kind of revamping, that they need some type of decompression counseling or something so all this stuff they deal with don't build up over time,
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And just wanted to offer up my thoughts on it.
Well, thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you, and thank you for all that you do. Have a great night.
Same to you now. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All righty. Well, that'll be a wrap. We're at the end of the show. Thank y'all for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. If you tried to get on and you couldn't, y'all know it's not my fault. Blame the white man like everybody else want to blame. But thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best. I'll be back live again, of course, on Wednesday, but I'm here all throughout the week, Monday through Saturday, putting out pre-recorded content. And you can catch me on other social media platforms. Catch me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. Catch me on AnthonyBLogan.com, ABLmerch.com, PatriotPost.us. All my links, everything will be in the description. If you're listening to me right now on the audio streaming platform, there will be a description box somewhere where everything's right there. All my links, whatever. Or the easy way, the best way, go to the website, AnthonyBLogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. I got super chats to read right quick. Then I wrap it on up with the bowl clean on top. Take it to the mods, so keeping the trolls in check and the chat nice and tidy. Thank you to everybody that's been watching, super chatting, streaming, retweeting, whatever you're doing. I thank you for it. Couldn't do it without you. And thank you to my site, who says that statue looks like the alleged ingredient in the serum that people stood in line for. Thanks. Thank you. Exactly. Thank you for that. Thank you to El Bori, who says this live is amazing. Thank you. Thank you for that. And thank you for your very first super chat. It says that right there in the thing. So I appreciate you, boss. Thank you to Jay Flo, who says, shout out to the law enforcement officers that fight evil every shift, knowing they may not make it home to their families. Heart emoji, US. Thank you for that as well. You guys are great. That about sums it up. That about wraps it up for me. So thank y'all again. And until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.